How's that?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, the guy that, is gonna strike
Hanging in there.
Minor Street. So that's our first question.
I do, I know.
No, this one's yours.
This-
Do you want me to send out?
Hey, we have, a really full, work session agenda. So I'm trying to kick us off here right on time at 5:30. And I would like to welcome everybody to the April 13th, 2026 work session, for the city of Holy Springs. And we've got a near record 6 items, that we will attempt to get through. And, I would like to, welcome, Mary Jane, with the Mighty Argo cable car, and she has an update for us. And Sadie, welcome.
Sada's gonna be my wingman here.
Oh, okay.
She's got a lot of the details.
I got you.
As you know, we've all been getting a lot of press. Hopefully you've seen a lot of good positive press on things. And one thing that we instituted yesterday was no more press visits until we open, because it's disturbing the project at this point. People are coming down to the wire and we're going, okay, we can't have people stopping and.
Well, and we have had one reporter from every major news station up on site and from every angle, so.
Times. So opening still, and this is, we've got our liquor license hearing tonight. So we won't be announcing the opening until in the morning, but it looks like April 24th
Okay.
is the actual ribbon cutting with the governor and all of you invited. Invitations will go out tomorrow. And we have on the 22nd, a contractor appreciation day and test day for the bikers. We have like 70 riders from Comba. I don't know how many that will be testing the bike cabins early that day. And then in the afternoon, we have contractor appreciation for that. It looks like we're in the middle of our certification for our lifts. Right now, we're doing our evac training. We've got our, they call it a deficiency list, but it's like a checklist about stuff that we're working on that will be finished. So we're quite positive that the lift will be certified by this Friday. I mean, it's certified, it's just punch list stuff that happens to happen. The initial operations after our ribbon cutting, the first day, we will have Idaho Springs residents only after the governor's little speech.
1:30.
Yeah, 1:30 in the afternoon. And this leads to the ticketing experience. We're trying to work that out. What we're looking at is potentially registering like you do for your vehicle. And that's your registration rather than recreating the wheel. We're talking about, okay, if you've got a vehicle license, this will be the same way of doing it. And what we're gonna try to do, and we're still 10 days away or so, 11 days away, is have everyone buy a ticket, even though it'll be a free ticket. So we can see how the online system works on that first day. And then that will be the system going forward. If you want to get on the cable car, you have to buy a ticket, but it'll be a free ticket.
Gotcha.
That's the system to keep track of capacity, who's using it, why they're using it, all that thing. And then, as I said, Wednesday is the contractor appreciation. Thursday is like, okay, what do we need to fix? With service, with F&B, with lift operators. And then Saturday and Sunday, the day after our opening to Idaho Springs, we will have controlled ticketing. We're releasing 700 or 800 tickets only. And then on Monday, our plan is to go full steam ahead. So that's anything, did I forget anything on that?
I do think that like limited hours is something.
Yeah, and we're limiting hours for the first few weeks. We're limiting hours to only 8 hours a day so that we don't have more than one shift as our lifties ramp up, as our operators ramp up. And as we get into later in May and Memorial Day, obviously, we'll start going into summer hours and all that stuff. But we're anticipating that everything's gonna go well, but that we're gonna have to tweak it. And that's just the way of starting a new business. We're also looking at some off-site employee parking that we'll be able to announce pretty soon. We're going to be ramping up with about 35 to 40 employees to start with. And of course, parking and traffic is huge issue all the time for all of us. Again, reiterating, Idaho Springs residents will be able to ride the gondola for free, following the registration system. And we're saying residents will ride once per day with minimal blackout dates. I mean, we're not thinking you need to go up 3 or 4 times a day. Take up. And the goal is to create pride in the project and local ambassadors who support and tweak and look for your suggestions, the Argo experience.
Hey, I get a lot of questions about the locals at the library. So when you say they ride for free 1 per day, that makes sense. Is that every day or is that every day? Okay.
As long as you make a reservation.
And so you just go online and make a reservation?
Yeah, you just have to say, I'm coming. And there may be days that
It's
we're
booked out.
full at 2 p.m.
That's fine. And I'll let
You
them
know.
know that. In fact, if there's any sort of like dialogue that you guys could get, I can just draw them to, and that way I don't have.
Would it be like a good, like a little one page
A
from the
little
library?
bullet,
Would that be
And
bullet.
we're gonna try to
Okay.
have
Rex
that.
and too probably would
Yeah.
want it to.
Right now, we're putting out, we're not putting out fires, we're just trying to get stuff done to get over.
Right,
it
right, right.
And not delay it anymore, and we don't really feel like we've been that delayed, but anticipation is building, and, really our goal is to make everyone in Idaho Springs feel like this is part of their park system and part of their deal, and again, we want everybody to buy beer, whatever, have a great sunset evening up there. We also have, our VIP opening will be very limited to like 150 people. It's just the governor and elected officials like you guys. We will be having a larger activation in May for more investors and more VIPs that potentially we think are.
And again, an invite only.
Yeah, again, an invite only type thing. So if you haven't been invited already, this is kind of fun stuff. This Thursday, we have a Union Station activation. Union Station, Crawford Hotel, Oxford Hotel, because of our connection with Dana Crawford, have offered to host a gondola cabin for 5 weeks on the terminal bar patio. So on Thursday, we will have a grand unveiling of the demonstration gondola cabin that we all had at the groundbreaking. And they have developed what's it called? The Ascent. The Golden Ascent cocktail. And it has gold leaf and stuff in it. So they're premiering that, and they'll be selling that cocktail and having the gondola cabin on their terminal patio for 5 weeks, and allowing as needed, we can reserve it for VIP events. If you've got a group you want to bring down and say, I want to bring 10 people and I want to drink champagne, that can probably happen. So we're just sort of feeling this as it goes, but Thursday from 5 to 7 at Union Station is when that's happening. And I already mentioned the contractor celebration on the 22nd, 24th is that ribbon cutting. We have confirmed the governor, which is pretty exciting, and we haven't confirmed any other legislators, but we don't know. We're trying to get Kevin Costner, right?
Yeah. I'm going for Kevin Costner.
And we just have a few other I call them prestigious activations that are happening. On April 30th, we have the Leadership Journey Experience, which is an invite only again. The leadership group from the state tourism office, including the group that Sadie's on, they're just coming up, 20 or 30 of them
Yeah, there's only 25.
to experience and send out the word on the Mighty Argo. We'll be talking with them a little bit as well. On May 5th, the Colorado Tourism Office, and you guys should all have this in your packets, is holding their spring media reception at the Mighty Argo. And this is, they hold it one place every year. They usually hold it in Denver. So to have them doing this at the Mighty Argo is amazing. One of our goals is to not only showcase the cable car, but to showcase the mill. So every time we do a group like this, we're giving them the zip tour of the mill, so they understand the whole piece of the heritage tourism and the outdoor recreation. their group of media people will be 50, 60, 70 people, curated as well. They'll be going through a zip tour of the mill and then riding the cable car up to the top, having a media showcase, we'll be speaking. And their journalism partners will have the opportunity to do future stories, ask questions, and of course, we always promote Idaho Springs as well as cable car in the mill. Which should really be cool. And the really probably the most fun thing on the activation is the senior prom. Okay? And the senior prom is extremely excited about this. We're charging them our cost only, our cost to run the lifts and have staff on. Goldie's gonna be the queen of the prom. She's out the door. She's out the door.
Yeah.
She's just worried must be there. And that will, we're actually closing the lift that day because we won't have 2 shifts. But we're also using that as an opportunity to do a reset on that. We've been open for 2 weeks now. Now let's see what we're doing. We'll be open for the prom, for them to decorate, but it won't be open to the public on May 8th. And of course, there's no alcohol that we know of and all of that.
Yeah, plausible deniability.
Right.
They'll have security officers on site.
Right.
That's not our job. The security officer from the school district will be there.
Right, so the prom, well, they'll come up and take photos. But the prom itself is from 7 to 10 PM and last ride down will be at 10 PM, and that'll be done. We're actually thinking this might get some national attention, which is, and we think all the high schools in the region are gonna wanna do their prom up there, but it's gonna cost them a lot more money than Creek High School. And then we have a music activation, Perry Shea, our CEO with GDC, who I can say this public now, has been really suffered from a horrible brain cancer. This is going to be our first time to actually bring all of our investors together. And he's hired a well-known bluegrass writer on Adam Craig on May 23rd. And you guys will be hearing more about that too. And then on May 29th, the Mighty Argo Gondola Cabin is going to be on Union Station Terminal Bar from the 16th through May 28th. On May 28th, the Gondola Cabin moves to outside days, and the state has given Mighty Argo a premier spot next to the Sundance Festival as the 2 premier new attractions in the state. They've given us a sweetheart deal, so we'll be showcasing that for 3 days at Outside Festival. We're also looking for volunteers if anybody wants to come to Outside Festival, and we've got a bunch of VIP passes that can come in there, and that's building awareness and again, just driving visitation.
And to be mentioned there, CCEDC and the County Tourism Board are both supporters of that activation, so they'll be down there with us. And last year, Visit Idaho Springs paid to be down there, and this year, MJ and Visit Idaho Springs also have their own little section of that activation. So we'll be promoting county tourism, economic development, visiting Idaho Springs, and the new cable car development at that.
Right, and at Union Station and at the Outside Festival activations, there will be QR codes, information. Our goal is to collect people's emails and addresses. We've got to deal with Union Station. If they sell tickets as a result of being at Union Station for 5 weeks, they get a 10% kickback, and that's the kind of thing that we'll be working with people throughout. So that Outside Festival should really be cool because that's our target market too.
Mhm.
And we always push that this is not a bike park. This is a hiking and biking, and this is trails. So part of our mentality is we don't really need to market to the bikers because you're here. We need to make it accessible to other people. And the last one on our current schedule is the June 4th Colorado 150-250 drone show. You probably all know that they've adopted us as one of their statewide partners. And this $60,000 drone show will be happening at the Argo for $18,000 on the night of June 4th. And you'll be able to see it from down here and up at the top. So, and we get 20% of the content for Argo and Idaho Springs, and 80% is the canned content from the state. I saw it in Steamboat. Oh my God, it was amazing. So that, other than all the stress that's going on right now, is the update. Any
Well,
questions?
that was a lot. Council, questions for City or Mary Jane?
You'll be getting questions about ticket pricing, and that's coming soon too. We're debating after Thursday, and Idaho Springs residents will get the free gondola ride, but their bikes aren't free. So because those bike cabins are, so we're working all that out too.
If somebody wanted to volunteer, oh, I'm sorry. If somebody wanted to volunteer for the outside festival activation, how do they say you? Okay.
Because we're giving the city a deal, she's gonna help you.
That's a co-op,
We got Rose, we
that's
got,
a co-activation, so, again, we've got so many people helping on that one, but yes, we need lots of folks at that. That's gonna be,
And where is that going to be? Where is that
That's at
festival?
that's at Civic Center Park and
Okay.
Aurora campus.
Okay.
they
In
move it
downtown
directly
Denver.
from Union Station to outside days.
Say,
then
just
we're
for
thinking-
clarification, you said Civic Park and Aurora campus?
Correct, it's
Okay.
both places. We, as the Visit Idaho Springs and the Argo activation are at Civic Center Park. We're like right outside the public library, right before you go to that archway. There's this whole place that's called the Launching of Corner Colorado.
Okay.
And so we'll have a big space and activation there with the gondola having.
And we're excited to be next to Sundance because we have the opportunity to collaborate with Sundance.
Especially with the film festival happening this year for us in Clear Creek County, it will be a great opportunity that's why CCEDC is, because they're a sponsor of the film festival this year. They'll be down there helping kind of network and build that brand.
So just keep your fingers crossed, but I think it's all good. Janine, did you have a question?
No, okay, no, you're good.
All right, Andy, Guy, any questions?
Yeah, sure, Gary.
We're looking for a date on fully reopening the trail system to the
We're gonna
public.
say probably the 24th, 25th.
Okay, we're gonna be ready by the 22nd, because that's when.
You're
the
gonna test it
is.
on the 22nd.
Right. And obviously, we're not gonna do it before the ribbon cutting on the 24th, so we just need to know whether
I think it's
it's
probably.
Friday
gonna
night
be
or
25th.
Saturday morning or.
Well, and we have the outline of what we're doing on the 21st, if you guys already established, right?
Yeah, you guys are gonna be doing some tricks underneath the governor's
We got that
cabin.
far, right.
Yeah. That's what I was
But
talking about.
that's before the 1:30 ribbon cut.
No, ribbon cutting's at 11.
Oh, what's going on at 1:30?
That's a little.
Idaho Springs residents get off.
Okay.
So we'll have to
Like I said, we
clarify
just need
the
to know
budget.
whether we're fully open to the public Friday night or Saturday.
We'll have
morning.
to clarify that, because that's good.
That's
Lots of little details.
So many, all that.
Any other?
All right, anything further? Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
We appreciate that. That's a lot of information.
And I'll tell you what, our lift team is just working so hard. They're so proud of having this.
Good.
I think we've hired some of the best of the best.
So many locals.
Yeah, and so many locals.
Excellent.
Which
All
will be
right.
part of the story too.
Well, next up, our hiking trails expansion proposal. Dylan, welcome.
Well, hi, so, we're probably as well, Gil.
Yeah, Gil.
So I've been hearing quite a lot over the last year or so, especially that we need to expand hiking only offerings in the park. And that there's, while there are, and the poster of current trails in the park shows it, while there are 8 miles of trails you can hike on, some locals are concerned about conflict with bikes, it not being as welcoming, foot traffic, et cetera. Whether or not that's true for everyone is, but, people's opinions about it. So if that's their experience, that's not great. So talking with Gil and with Gary recently, Gil has put together a number of concepts that I think could be really interesting to kind of start creating this much broader hiking trail network in town. And so in the packet, I put in 3 or 4 different concepts. Some would rely on get an easement from a parcel or a purchase acquisition using perhaps GOCO funding, for a mining claim parcel. But what the concept kind of is showing is the, western portion of the mountain park, which is just west of Virginia Canyon Road. Right now, there's no trails there at all. And there's been, and you can speak to this, there's a little bit of issue with perhaps rocks falling during trail construction or to create bike specific trails. And so it's the perfect spot for hiking.
Right, so we're not we're not even talking about biking trails west of Virginia Canyon, am I correct?
Right,
Okay.
yeah, but the concept, there is opportunity to fit some more hiking specific trails in the kind of heart of the existing developed park,
Dylan, are you guys, it's hard for me to tell on this map, but are you guys talking about the front ridge that you can actually, the most south facing ridge? That's the ridge that most houses would be affected by? Is that
Right,
where you
yeah,
guys are
and
proposing trails?
And what Gil has mostly drawn up is it's more kind of on the behind
second
that ridge.
ridge?
So it's kind of on the north facing slope on the downhill side of that ridge. But you could put trails on the southern side potentially. I think the idea is that we would start developing this section and it would be hiking trails.
That answer your question?
My question is twofold. One is more of a statement. I don't even want to see another biking trail developed until we have adequate hiking trails. And number two, the idea of putting hiking trails on the south rim of that mountain is ludicrous considering the amount of rocks that already come down. I live on that
Oh,
street
you
and
do, okay.
and so do you, so
Well, it would be the west of.
I know, but it still has already gained people access to a part of the mountains that they do not have access to right now. We personally have had people come down, street down our backyard. So, I mean, this sounds really great, but my concern is that we have not yet developed the hiking trails in the existing park that were promised at the very beginning of this.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, just specifically just for hikers. I've been here all along, so I'm just curious. Where are those only hiking trails that are just for hikers, but that were proposed 12 years ago or whenever we started talking about this?
Well, maybe you need to tell me the ones that aren't there.
I don't hike up there. My husband does.
Okay. Okay. So I wonder which ones he's talking about. 'Cause
I
right
mean,
now,
he's talking about, he's on trails with bikers.
He's on Trails with Bikers, which is a shared trail.
I know, I said hiking specific is the words I used.
Does he not know 10-day Jack Trail?
I have absolutely no idea. I don't consult my
That one we
husband's
built-
words.
Wait a minute, this is not a bike park though. Like, right now, what I hear from my constituents is that this feels like a bike park. So there's 0.8 miles, if I'm reading that correctly, that is just hiking only. How many miles of trails that are biking only? There needs to be a better balance.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're, just to answer your question, so we have a hiking trail to the top that is shared with bikes, that bikes only go one way. They only go uphill, so there's not bikes coming at you, right? So it's friendly that way. There's a 10-day Jack Trail, so Jack's Peak, we call it Jack's Peak, because it's 10-day Jack's. That's a hiker only peak that hikers can experience. And then this summer, we're building another trail up Buttermilk that's just for hikers.
How many miles
So
will that be?
That will create a loop with Buttermilk Peak.
That's less
So-
than a mile though.
Yeah, less than a mile. It's more kind of that incline-ish feel, like steep.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is an interesting idea, like the image up there is from the 2019 Virginia Canyon Mountain Park Master Plan. And so you can see here, like the portion that they've kind of built concepts for is that portion. Even Dylan had to do it. So there really wasn't any proposed trails there at that point. Back when in 2019, when this was approved, preliminary trail alignment, there were separate mountain bike uphill only trails and hiking uphill only trails. They were totally separated. When it actually got I mean, you can see the purple is hiking only. This does say parts of it are mountain bike uphill only, but then it says here they're shared use trails. So I will say, in the original master plan, some of these hiking trails have been built. The one kind of in the bottom right corner, for example, it's not quite aligned like that, but it was built. There are some that are, there's less hiking probably than as per capita compared to biking in the park now than was shown in the original plan. I think the bike trails are much more popular than they were ever anticipated to be also.
Who knew?
So from my perspective as city planner, local, do ride bikes, I hike in the park. We definitely can fit more hiking in the main portion of the park. But I think a secondary goal that this provides is, I think it would be really amazing eventually to be able to have like a single track ring of the city. That's for hikers.
We've talked about that.
And
I
so
like
by developing this western portion of the park, which it is the officially part of the park, that allows you, if you're willing to share uphill access from the bottom of the gondola to about halfway up to the rail hub, so it's about 1.2 miles shared, you could get in probably a 6-7 mile loop if this hiking concept on the west side is included, because there's a hiking only trail from halfway from the bottom to the hub. And so it's not exactly what the original master plan contemplated, but it does activate more areas on that hillside, which could be a positive thing, notwithstanding the fact that we likely could fit more hiking only trails. And that's good feedback. Like, if council says, hey, the direction is we want more hiking only trails in the main section of the park, nothing on the west side or in addition to the west side, I still think that's a good direction, right?
I would like more hiking only trails in the main portion of the park. I like the idea of something like the Manitou Incline, because the Manitou Incline is a big draw. I think if we had the Idaho Springs Incline, that would also be a big draw. I like the idea, like I said, we've talked about this. I like the idea that there's a ring of hiking all the way around, but I'm with Kate. You know, the biking trails have, I mean, I have people say, oh, it's a biking park. It's not a biking park. It's a mountain park, and biking is part of it. So I think it's our job, this is just my opinion, that we have to include more than just one mountain hobby. And hiking is something that a lot of folks do that they have told me they don't feel they can.
Hiking on a trail with bicycles doesn't.
So Dylan, a money question. So if you proposing, you know, the western development of a trail that sounds like it would be like 7 miles, 6 miles plus round trip, is that a loop?
You'd have to
I mean, we haven't had anybody
Like, you could-
like walk this yet, so we're not even sure of the practicality of
But
this.
you could like pop up, you know, at the existing trailhead, do, I don't know, I'd say it's about 2.5 miles, 3 miles to get back around Virginia Canyon. There'd be a small stretch on the road in the
Right,
gravel
and
section.
that happens all over.
And then
the
you'd
place.
have probably another 2 miles that would connect in either at 8th Avenue near, if we, you know, got an easement from Colorado School of Mines, or it could cut through like you see in some other towns like Crested Butte or Breckenridge or whatever, just in a area of city-owned open space. So like an example would be the one I'll pull up. And so then you'd still have to connect back in with Virginia Street.
So before you go down that road, let me just go where I was thinking, because I mean, obviously the development of trails is gonna cost money. So who is going to help us fund that money? And is that money that we're seeking out for grants for the match also money that we would be using for a brand new playground that we obviously desperately need?
Right.
Is it the same money?
I mean, theoretically, there's
Okay.
4 or 5 different funding sources, but
Hopefully.
as you know, as you think about like the skate park project, we recently applied for a $750,000 grant to fund the next phase of that, which is tennis courts, pickleball, play fields, playground there, concession stand. And if that, and that's through GoCo, which GoCo has also funded, previously had funded parts of the Greenway Trail, funded some of the mountain biking, funded some playground that's at CRC Park. So, you know, the more you keep dipping into the same GoCo, CPW, those sorts of parks of wildlife sources means that you're weighing priorities. So that's another good.
I just wanted to put that out there.
Hey, Kate, just to be clear, we're would want to still be involved in the hiking side of this, just like we have with the rest of the trail development. So everything that we have brought to bear in terms of partners and funding, acumen and design and those kinds of things, our volunteers, there, it would be treated the same as the rest of the park. We're just trying to find that opportunity to really give the hikers a different experience.
Can you put that on paper for me?
Wouldn't think I would need to, but I'm happy to.
And hiking trails, you told me, at least you too, that they're much cheaper per foot to build
Sure.
in general,
Oh, for sure.
right? So a grant that's for a new downhill mountain bike trail would have to be a lot more than a grant for a 2 mile hiking trail. So again, maybe we have other priorities because clearly another discussion item today is Sears Park, the playground equipment, the skate park, well, the recreation complex, you know? But I think in general, if we could find, I suppose in general, I guess that this is all good feedback. And I'd be curious if we would be interested, if we can not compete against ourselves for funding. We'd be interested in funding more hiking only trails.
I mean, we have to do that because that's what we promised the citizens when we decided to use this park as a bike hike park. I mean, that was the, you know, that's the way it's always been designated since like it was bequeathed to us by BLM. So we have to pursue the bike park. On the flip side, we have the immediate need of a playground because that is something that's in our face every single day, at least in my face every single day. So I don't know, how do we don't compete with ourselves on these two projects? But I mean, I don't wanna speak out loud, but somebody else give me your opinion on what you would wanna see first.
The playground first.
Playground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, that's how I feel too, that the playground has to come first.
But I want to see like the plans. for
I want
what we're going to
earnest,
do.
I guess I want in earnest plans, that's the
Yeah.
kind of what I wanna see what this looks like. I wanna know that somebody has walked the probability of this trail. I mean, I myself, with all the surgeries I had, I'm no longer doing this, but I will send my husband with you and he will do it with you and report back appropriately.
Would be fun, that'd be a fun day trip, Doug is very fun.
I mean, I've
Doug's
taken-
ready, he's ready to go, yeah, seriously, he'll
I went
go.
up there a couple weeks ago just to scout it, see if it was feasible. And we found an alignment that would mitigate any rock fall. So
Yeah, I
keep
mean-
people away from.
And you have to understand, it is not a joke, like literally I was standing in my backyard talking to my husband and a rock flew out of the sky and flew through our neighbor's home. Like, this is not like, not occurring. I don't know about Jeremy, he lives closer, but, I don't know how much closer you could get because we're both right there, but.
We were shooting from
I don't know what did this one, but this literally was a projectile, so you gotta make sure
What's on my
that
neighbor's roof?
people say, yeah,
It was on
so.
top of
Yeah,
his
the way we
house,
looked at the
house.
design
It's on
was
his roof.
to be on the other side of the bridge.
I like that. And we gotta make, I'm not like big for being in nature and having signage, but we've gotta have like, you know, danger, something along the lines that as you're pursuing this, going up that main shared trail saying, if you get off trail here, this is what could happen, blah, 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 all these things could happen.
Yeah,
Cause
makes
they
sense.
gotta have ownership of being behind people's homes that are 150 years old.
Keep your rocks down the hill.
Dylan, would you pull up the one
Or
map
scrambling
that shows
down
the
because they don't know where
highlighted
they're
hiking
going.
trails? I know some of them are shared, left hill mountain biking. Would you mind pulling that up again?
Sure.
This, I want to make sure it's important to acknowledge what we have. We certainly are hearing that we need more hiking trails. That's a desire. But we currently have a top to bottom trail, hiking trail, which is professionally built. It's easy walking.
But what's the total
No,
mileage?
I'm just saying, it's 4 miles, top to bottom.
Okay,
And it's in great condition and yes, it does have uphill mountain bikes. But I hiked it the other day, I didn't see any mountain bike, and of course it's closed, the lower part's closed. Or the closure's been extended until Margot. But so you can hike from top to bottom, that's always been a goal, is to be able to get from top to bottom. So if you have people that go up the gondola and they want to hike down, they can do that, and it's a nice walk and you're facing any bikers that are coming up. Generally, bikers aren't going very fast going uphill. They can have an electric bike and maybe go a little faster, but they know when they start that trail, it's a shared trail. And then the 10-day Jack's Trail, again, I just hiked that recently. And that goes from the hub, which is about halfway up, over the peak, that front peak, and then down, and it connects back to the main trail going up the 4 miles up and down. So those are the
There's
two.
also a loop in there with the Morning Star Trail now too.
Okay,
I'm not kidding.
so,
All right.
so again, it's limited, but I can tell you to hike all the way to the top, that would be a good half-day hike.
Doug's done it a million times.
Okay, I'm just saying. and-
I pick them up at top.
So you can do as much or as little as you want on that Rosa Gulch Trail all the way up that 4
By the way,
miles.
I did it once, a very, very, very long time ago, but I did do it. I don't remember any of it, but I.
The Rosa Gulch Trail is cut through to Santa Fe Mine Road now too. So we ran into a lot of hikers and runners out there that were already trying to go up Rosa Gulch and come down Virginia Canyon. So we made sure there's an access single track all around Santa Fe now.
I think, Sadie wanted to say something, guys.
And something just so council knows, from a marketing perspective, we're working with the County Tourism Bureau right now on our Trails to Towns grant, which is specifically focusing on hiking that is outside of Virginia Canyon Mountain Park, that's within our area, that's going to be educating people on the beautiful trails that we have that are super accessible right now, that are outside the mountain park.
Right.
So it's not that we don't have a lot of hiking that's super accessible from Idaho Springs. It's just about making sure we're talking to them correctly. We can direct them to the correct places. And we're currently working on that grant. So that grant will have a pocket guide, which will have both an online and a physical presence to show people a trail guide that is both within the park, but also outside of the park.
Sadie, I hear what you're saying. I think that the trails that you're talking about, like, Barbara Forks, Montaigne, like, every single trail, anybody that's lived here a long time knows, this is literally a trail that they're like, I wanna walk from my house and do a trail. Like, all of us know where the good trails are. I don't actually want anybody else to know where the good trails are.
I'm actually not talking about those good trails. I'm talking about the accessible good trails that are not impacting our residents, that are good places to point our visitors to, so that they also know that they have lots of accessible hiking within the area as well. We're being very specific on what those hiking trails are. I just also want council to know that's something we're focusing on to make sure we're highlighting these accessible hiking trails that are connected to town, that our visitors can access. I know our residents have a good idea of where all of our great hiking trails are. I'm not trying to draw attention to those. What I am trying to draw attention to are the ones that our visitors might not be aware of, that are there saying, oh, I wanna go hike. And then also to mention, Argo on their private property at the top will be including hiking trails as well. Those are not biking trails. All the trails within Argo at the top are all hiking.
All right.
All right, very good. Any, questions, council? Andy, Guy, questions? All right, well, I want to thank you very much. And, we look forward to hearing more, in the near future.
Oh, I do have one question.
Oh,
I
yeah.
apologize.
Go
I'm
ahead,
late.
sure.
Dylan, did this give you enough direction?
Let's say yes.
Yes.
All right, very good. And Dylan, please stay put. Because next up, we're gonna talk about rental by owner. And,
And I'm gonna have Wonder join in so that, she can have some fun as well.
all right,
Because she's so critical to this. So I thought it was helpful because we've been hearing quite a lot, and I just stop sharing. I put a little PowerPoint that basically says everything in the packet, just so that people had something to look at while I talk. So we've heard quite a lot about short-term rentals over the last, since we instituted regulations. I thought this would be a good time to kind of refresh some of the newer members of council on like what our regulations actually are. B, fees, and talk about what they are now, how compared to other places, what it would take to change those if council wanted. Talk about how we do monitoring and enforcement, because I think a thing that's come up a lot is that there's been concerns about how like people who don't have licenses that are renting improperly. So, and then if there's anything from all this, that just questions that come up, or if there's any policy changes we want to make, that would be what I'm looking for direction. So This is the background. First adopted short-term rental regulations in 2019. And these apply to anyone who wants to rent their primary residence, a portion thereof, for periods of less than 30 days. If someone wants to rent their property, a room or their whole property for 30 days or more, they don't have to have a license. It's not subject to any caps. They can just do that. And that's 30 days or more versus 29 days or less. Applies only to residential properties. So getting on the next page, there's a few other commercial ways you can do lodging. There's a lot of sites that people use, Airbnb, VRBO, Booking, Flipkey, Vacasa, etc. And the most important thing I think is we only have 15 short-term rental licenses in city limits, and they're all taken, and there's no wait list. A license becomes available. It's a site. We host a lottery with interested parties who meet the criteria and are interested. We don't have a wait list, so that's key. That's it for that. It's important that we really do have three different kinds of lodging. Short-term rental, which is a primary residence for a period of less than 30 consecutive days, and it's a residential use, even though it's commercial. And breakfast is a little different in that it's operated in a private residence and it provides temporary accommodations as well, but it's occupied and attended by the operator, has meals. These are not subject to the 15 license cap. It's a commercial business, but it is allowed in residential zone districts. So if someone wanted to come in right now and say, hey, I want to do a bed and breakfast in their single family home, as long as they're meeting all the requirements for bed and breakfast, they could do that today, and we would license it. It's a use by right in most residential zone districts. Then, of course, there's a hotel and motel, which is kind of what it means. There is an unstaffed hotel, also allowed in commercial zone districts. That's 3 to 8 rooms. So those can look a little like a bed and breakfast, and potentially happen in some areas that right now are residential because they're zoned commercial. You know, there's a few places in town that it's C1 zoning, but it's been a single family home for 50 years. They could potentially convert that into an unstaffed hotel if they brought it up to commercial standards necessary to do so. Some background when it comes to enforcement is the license number must be included in the property listing. So if you're on Airbnb, it has to say STR 22-001 or whatever. And you're only eligible for an STR license at the property that's your primary residence. And that's based on your driver's license or state ID card and your either voter registration or vehicle registration and a document like a water bill or something, right? That shows it as your primary.
To confirm you pay income tax at said property.
So those are the requirements to even be able to do it. And if you don't have the license number listed, you're in trouble, but that's pretty easy to fix. But it also, yeah, there's new rules. So now I'm gonna just talk about fees because that's how I put it in the presentation. So right now, new license is $500, annual renewal is $250 every 3 years. Plus at the start, you have a life safety inspection. You're new in January each year. Just to get a sense of fees elsewhere, I looked at like 24 jurisdictions around Colorado. The average cost is higher, $949, but that's greatly increased because of Breckenridge and Basalt. You cut them out, plus the other 22, it's only $509, which is quite similar to us. And Clear Creek County, they're also 500, Georgetown's only 100, so it kind of shows a range of what people charge. Breckenridge and Basalt are interesting because they charge a lot more and they charge a per bedroom fee. And you can see like in Basalt, it's over $2,500 per bedroom. So if you have a 3-bedroom short-term rental, you're paying $7,500 a year. The reason they can do that is because they put together these really detailed impact studies that talk about the full impact of short-term rentals on the jurisdiction, on locals, on facilities, on infrastructure. And so then they use those studies to set the fees required to operate as a short-term rental. Those revenues directly go into like housing funds. And so it's a way that, you know, I know Breckenridge a little better. They use it to fund a lot of affordable housing programs. Carmen had mentioned that they had some legal challenges to that, but held up because they had done a ton of legwork at the start to make sure it was legally defensible. So, you know, again, if you look at like the average for us and elsewhere, it's about 500. These guys boost that average a lot higher because they're tying short-term rental impacts to housing funds to kind of offset their impacts. So if we're interested in doing fees, this is a model we want to follow.
I would almost like to see that as a model, even though I don't know that we can afford it right now, because I hear a lot of folks asking me, why can't I do a short-term rental? And I was like, because we don't have enough places for people to live.
Right.
So I look at this as something that is long-term versus in the next, 3 to 5 years, like over a 10-year period. This is not something that's gonna go away. So that might be something to consider in our, upcoming budgets, because I think it's a worthwhile.
Are you thinking about more?
No,
Oh, okay.
about why we don't have more and to justify what it is we charge for fees.
Well, and I would guess because we only have 15 licenses, we wouldn't generate much revenue from it. You know, even if you triple the costs, we're getting, I guess,
It's only
$15,000 a
15,
year.
15.
But it's probably good data to have regardless, because if anything ever does change, or if, people come with pitchforks and say, we need more Airbnbs, we have the data to show.
They're following the side anyway, I'm sorry, Jim.
And there's a distinction between, because a lot of these also are not owner occupied versus ours, you have to
Live there.
live there, so there is a distinction there,
Or
right?
have a manager within very short.
60 minutes, they have to be able to apply within 60 minutes.
Well, and they would charge these fees for, actually, that's a good question.
We don't know if they live there or not, right?
Because they could just buy it as an investment property, right?
Yeah, and then they charge those fees. I'm not positive if because these places have like primary residence ones that have a different cap or number that are allowed.
Right.
And so I'm not positive on that. That'd be interesting to see if they charge impact fees to a primary resident on one side. But that's fees. Now I think where we get more questions and complaints from folks in the community is like, how do we do monitoring and enforcement? So the way Wonder and I do the bulk of that, I've just started in the last year or so, once a month or so, I pull up all the booking sites, I look for all the listings that are available for like 5 or 6 different dates throughout the year to try to capture everyone. And then I look through and I say, do they have the listing? At this point, I know what every house looks like.
Right.
That's a short-term rental because I've done it long enough. So I can quickly be like, yep, I know they're licensed. Yep, I know they're licensed. But it makes it pretty easy because there's only 15 for us to be able
Right.
to do that monthly. It takes like an hour or less most of the time. And the other way we go into it is if complaint based. If someone complains about their neighbor, we look, do they have a license? If they don't, then we reach out and see what we can find. This just goes into how we do it. Like, let's say someone gets a complaint. We look and say, okay, we see someone sent us an advertisement. Is it associated with a licensed short-term rental? Oh, it is. Great. Like, we're done. Maybe they have an issue they need to address, but we can address that. And people who are licensed are pretty good about fixing their issues because they don't want to lose their license. Property is not licensed. We reach out at first with a friendly letter and say, hey, either like your listing's wrong, you need to fix this, or just remove it altogether. Give them the rules. Oftentimes they just don't know what the rules are. I've had a few cases in the last 18 months where someone bought a new house and they didn't look into it. We have regulations and they started renting. And we said, sorry, you can't do that. Wait for license. Either stop just stop doing all the other, or you have to do 30+ nights at a time.
Do they know that we have a cap on how many that we can have?
Yes.
They did know that, so they knew something.
Well, I don't know
know.
if at the
Okay,
time
right.
they did or
Okay.
not. They, people say, oh, I had no idea. I didn't look into it at all, and ignorance is bliss. So,
Permission.
we normally reach out once and then we have a second warning. And then after that, we would send it to PD and they would have to go through a citation process. We've not done that since I've been here. But that would be the process now. We can't just say, here's a fine for $500. We'd have to take them to court because that's how enforcement is kind of allowed in our code. And honestly, we don't think, again, but we've talked about it. Like, I don't think it's that big of an issue Like, it's definitely a problem with people who live right next to like a repeat offender, of which there are a few. And here I say there's maybe 2 to 4 that we've heard about multiple times, and it's tough to I don't know, do it, tough to enforce on it, though we're attempting to gather evidence and all these things in case we have to cite them. Because, someone might update their listing for a month, and it looks great, they're not renting, then it goes back to the way it was next year or whatever, and so it's these. So that's been our big problem, in general, in 2025, we only talked to 4 property owners. 2 of them just stopped listing completely. It doesn't mean they stopped renting necessarily, but like they just removed their listings. The other ones changed their listings to basically say, you cannot even attempt to book for less than 30 nights. Like you click the button for April 1st, you can't say your end date is April 15th. It has to be May 1st. And so if they're doing that, they can advertise per our ordinance on Airbnb. So far in 2026, we've only had 2 folks that we've had to send letters to. There's a couple of people we've emailed and said, hey, you're missing your license number, or you're missing your, or like you don't have a license, or you have to fix this. And so I touched on limitations. Can't just issue a fine when we receive a complaint. We have to collect clear evidence, which is tough to do. It's really hard to gather enough evidence unless, we did like a sting operation and said like, I'm gonna go stay there with a fake mustache and, record it.
With a fake mustache.
Maybe I should try it. So like if we get someone to testify, provide statements or evidence, then it would be a lot easier to do. But again, we only have a couple people who really had issues with, so it becomes a bigger problem than we might need to.
And Dylan, I think all of us really appreciate the effort, because I'm probably speaking for most of us when I say, I don't think most of our residents want more SDRs.
Right.
I think their concern is rogue actors.
Yeah.
Where we say we have 15, in reality, we have 30. And there's one coming to a house near you.
Right.
So I think they're more concerned about the enforcement so it doesn't get out of hand. If I had a crystal ball, I would even say 10 years from now, I don't think that 15 SDR budgets. It's very controversial, and I don't think it's a very popular item amongst residents.
Right.
So, but the enforcement effort,
It's not.
I mean, I think we're trying to be pretty reasonable
Sure.
with the enforcement effort. And I want to say thank you for
Sure.
looking into it once a month, spending an hour.
And certainly we don't want to make an example of someone and go through the process, but we will if we have to. Like it hasn't gotten to that point, but we will do it. We've talked to Carmen and Nick. We have a plan if and when the need arises. So, I did want to mention though, like if folks on council think it's an issue and we need to address it, or it becomes an issue in the future and we're like, there's 50 rogue people, there are a few ways other people do it. So we talked to Clear Creek. They have 162 licenses for short-term rentals that are not owner occupied. They're just investment properties, second homes, whatever you want. They also have unlimited number of primary resident licenses. So they have a lot more. And they use software to track unpermitted short-term rentals, and it scrubs all the sites and it sends them, pings them if there's an issue. But the problem with that is it costs, some of these are like tens of thousands of dollars a year. And we have 15 licenses and it takes me an hour or 2 per month to do it. So if it's a bigger issue, then maybe we have to do that. But they do also do one other good thing that I think we're gonna start replicating, and that's reaching directly out to like Airbnb or VRBO and saying, hey, this guy won't stop listing. They don't have a license. Please remove it. And Clear Creek has had a good amount of success doing that. Airbnb is not required legally, I don't think, to do it, but they don't want to be run afoul of municipal law. So we haven't had to do that yet either, but the county has said that worked really well. So if we get to that point before issuing the citation, we're likely to try to go that route. The one other way that Nick from the attorney's office had said is effective in Wheat Ridge, but probably wouldn't be beneficial here, is that just because it's complicated and creates a whole new system, is they have an ordinance that allows for administrative enforcement on a lot of things, health code, building code, nuisances, but also short-term rentals. But they have to have a community support officer who's designated. It could be Zach, here, for example. But they go and they issue a citation and then don't need a court process. Because they have an ordinance that allowed it to be addressed administratively, but they had to set up a whole independent hearing process to then address those. So I think this point is like, yes, we could go that route and say, hey, we're just gonna give you the fine and then you have to come and prove innocence, I guess. And it's kind of the opposite system, but that would be a lot of work and money for us to set up too. And it might be worth it though, if it is a real problem in our eyes or it becomes a bigger problem. And so I guess that's really it. I think the takeaway is that I don't think yes, it's a big issue for the people who live next door to kind of rogue short-term rentals or someone who has a short-term rental license and is just doing it improperly. There are some ways we could change it, but it would be expensive and complicated, and that it might be worth looking into changes to the fee structure in the future, just to Lisa's point. That's what we have.
All right, please, Lynn.
The 15 licenses that we've had since 2019, 2 have changed hands ever. One because the property sold, it's not transferable. One is the property owner forgot to renew. She entered the lotto and guess what? She won it back. So I don't think she'll ever forget again.
And we do often, those 2 times we've had the lottery, like 3 or 4 or so people have applied each time.
That's it.
And so, I mean, it shows that there's a slight interest in
But not
short-term rentals,
incredible.
but not, we're not getting 100 people knocking down.
And I know you guys probably don't know this, but do you know how many days a year altogether total all 15 properties are having visitors?
I could get that for you, but I don't know.
I just as a curiosity, I mean, I hope it's driving people to town, it would be nice.
What,
Without
didn't
being
you
too
say
disruptive.
anecdotally, one of the operators said they were making like $30,000 a year or something?
Oh, easy. Mhm.
So
good.
it's quite lucrative, even though it's their primary residence, if you just had an investment property that you were turning 300 days a year, which happens up in the resort towns, like there was some guys I talked to who lived up in like Silverthorne who made over $100,000 a year just renting out their home. So that's not quite the scale we have here, but that's, I think, because we had put in quite strong regulations 7 years ago.
All right, before we move to the next item, I just want to make sure council doesn't have any further questions for.
I'm okay with it. I just want, you guys asked about the fee structure. I think the 500 is fine. Like if you take rec out of there, it really, you look average with everybody else. So I don't have a problem with that. I do think that we need to put in our hats that we look at like that kind of study. But what was the other thing? I had something else. Sorry, fill in there.
Well, and then there's the renewal, because like others were 500 and we drop it to half.
We can keep it at 500.
I'm kind
That's
of
it.
leaning that way.
Well, that's kind of the reason I was asking, if they're only renting it for 15 days out of the year, the burden is now on them that they have to come up with another $250, so I don't wanna make good players work harder to make money. If we do everything else right, and right now we don't seem to have a big problem, from what you guys are saying. But if it gets to the point where we do have bad actors, then we make it a little bit more challenging.
I don't think we actually have a lot of bad actors. I think we have.
No, I'm saying
bad
that we
actors
don't
who are
have that.
Noisy.
Well, and my opinion is that the people who are licensed are not an issue at all. Like maybe there's occasionally someone who's groggy because there's people parking incorrectly because they're not actually residents of the area, they don't know how to park. That's you say that's kind of the big complaint we get about existing
Parking.
short-term rentals?
Yeah, I've had one complaint, just one, about, the property owner not responding quick when they thought the tenant who was renting thought they had a water. So they didn't answer within that hour, so I gave them a hard time.
But yeah, we're definitely hearing more about people who are unlicensed. That's when we get a complaint, which is a few times a year, it's someone who doesn't have a license.
Sure. All right, anything further?
No, but thank you for your work. I
Yeah,
know
thanks.
that
Yeah,
I've
thank you very
asked you
much.
about this, and so I'm pleased to see that you guys are doing this and that it's not, super absorbing your time.
Right, well, I'd say Winter does most of the work throughout the year. I just do the monitoring each month, So.
Appreciate it.
Team.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Next up, CRC Lake Park update. How are you? Hello, everyone.
Hi,
And, we have a guest. We do. I brought Mark with MVP Playgrounds to help navigate the struggle we've been having with the playground park
He's gonna do
over
this.
there,
He's
and
gonna
trying to
make it
explain why it is what it is and, how it's going. He did provide like 5 different quotes that are in the packet, ranging from like, was it 60
I
to
think around
55
Upper
to
50s
to
to,
120.
yeah,
Each one of them, encompasses kind of like a different idea or a different thing that we could do. We don't have anything specific in the budget. There is a fund that Andy had mentioned that it accumulates very slowly. And I think there's $100,000 in there that we could use if we wanted, that normally we would take and match funds with a grant.
Mhm.
In order to make a larger project out of it. So if we wind up using that money, that's not gonna be there for next year. If there's something else that needs to be done.
I talked to Ed a little bit last week, and so I had a couple, questions. When we threw the playground, that whole thing together, we did it as a whole unit, like one big piece. And I think that this is gonna happen, you're the playground expert, this is gonna happen because they only last 15 to 20 years, and I think that's being generous personally. My suggestion is, and I know that we don't have matching funds, and I know $100,000 isn't gonna get us very far. But I thought maybe splitting the playground into 4 components, where that way every 5 years we're changing out a component, or maybe every 4 years, that sounds more in the time frame that we need, 16 years. And you have you know what I mean, like, so everything.
So the whole the whole playground doesn't break down at one time and.
Exactly.
It's in.
Then we do it in phases, so, I mean, that's kind of my suggestion, and I had mentioned to Ed, I said, because of that we've gotten to the point where it's just really not usable at this point in time, that one component. I'm okay with going all in with whatever we can scrape up, even if we don't have grant money. So that's just where my head's at, Chuck. I think it would be a good faith move for the council, for the public, for the general public. And then we can sort of a plan, like, okay, here, what do you think the next stage of this should be? And that means going from the ground up, because I know Ed's, like, he knows that the ground has to go in. So it's not just the equipment that we put back on old ground, we've gotta go,
So,
Bottom up.
and if I may, we have a capital improvement, plan. And, with this scenario, what we may do, and this may even encompass multiple parks,
sure,
is.
that's how we have to.
We have a progressive, maintenance whereby, maybe 20% of the park is addressed as part of the improvement plan.
Okay, yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, but that makes sense to add, to have it as part of one of those projects.
I would be curious to hear from the playground expert, because isn't the problem with this one that the parts don't match? So is that actually possible?
so there's a lot of problems with the playground, the current playground.
Yeah.
And every quote I gave you really doesn't address all the problems that you probably should be addressing. The structure that we looked at that really needs to come out is in the middle of the playground. It doesn't have an ADA transfer station. An ADA transfer station is for a handicapped child to access the playground. So you don't have that. So you don't meet ADA accessibility requirements. One of the bigger the biggest problem is probably the surfacing, and you've got what was a very expensive surfacing that was put down. It's also a very challenging surfacing to piecemeal stuff together. Like if we were to just take out the playground structure that's the most problematic right now, we've got to patch that surface back in. It's obvious that surface has been patched a lot over time. I'm pretty certain that it doesn't meet impact attenuation guidelines, which is the fall height requirements of the specific pieces of equipment, I think the entire surfacing is no longer effective, unfortunately. But it makes it very difficult because if we were to go back in, remove sections of that surfacing so that we can take out the problematic structure, put in another smaller structure, and then repatch that surfacing, the new surfacing isn't gonna seam well to the old surfacing. It's gonna end up causing trip hazards probably very quickly. I can't say for sure, but I would say very quickly, especially because of the climate we have up here with the freeze thaw. That's very problematic with this type of surfacing. So there's a lot of things going on. And your idea of phasing can be a great idea, but not with that surface. So anytime you look at a playground going forward, that you want to kind of have a maintenance schedule or a replacement schedule, we either want to make sure that you have very separate areas, defined playground pits that you're going to replace every 10 years or 15 years, whatever it is. You don't want to have a large area like what you've got with a lot of pieces of equipment in it.
Because I noticed like the spongy rubber material that I noticed in basically any scenario, it's like 48 grand that we need to set aside to address that.
Yeah, you're looking at $30 a square foot basically to install
Okay.
that surface. When we start taking it out, it's even more because the disposal costs are very high. We can dispose of it properly.
With metal.
Yes.
I have an idea that just popped in my head based on what you said. I wonder if it wouldn't make sense. The big plan was to expand the park. And what I'm hearing you say is if we start messing with the existing park and the playground equipment, replacing it, one thing leads to another, it's gonna be problematic.
Yeah.
Any of your options. What about a new space to the south of the existing play park? We expand the play park, the fence, just bring the fence out. We've already talked about this. Council gave, positive on it. Obviously, it costs a lot of money to do the grand plan. But to just put in the new equipment, particularly the slide, but whatever we decide to do as far as new equipment, put it in that green space just south of the existing play park and leave the current play park alone for now until we have money to deal with it the way it should be dealt with.
What if we took out, would we take out the one that's problematic?
I'm thinking we might keep it and I'll defer to you, but what I'm hearing is that feature, it's just a slide that had to be removed. And what Ed's explained to me, it's just a slide that had to be removed, it's blocked off. The rest of it,
It should be removed.
understood,
Yeah,
and maybe all of it needs to be
Yeah,
removed because it
that-
doesn't meet current standards. I
Yeah.
get that, but it's, wonderful space. People love to swing, they love to,
Yeah.
it's very popular. So I understand where you're coming from. I get it as far as meeting ADA, that's very important.
Yeah.
But that really comes into play when you're replacing equipment. I mean, yes, you should keep your equipment up to date and we're out of date. But I mean, where you really get into a problem is that you can't replace without meeting current standards. And that's where the problem is, as I see it. So I'm just suggesting we may want to think about just activating a new space with the right matting and with the slide and with whatever we can afford that goes with it.
And then we take down the other stuff and we make it a dog park because it's already fenced in. No, seriously, like a resident came in and asked for it. There's a community need for a dog.
And
park.
that's actually, that's not that part, but Andy, on your idea, would we still, at that point in time, could we do it so that when we have to change the ground, we could do it in phases? Because again, I don't want to be doing, like, I'm not gonna be here, but I don't want somebody else have to be doing this all at the same time when you're in crisis mode. I still want that, what Chuck was saying, like we do it as a maintenance plan.
So I do think it's a great idea to relocate the
I
playground.
think it's a great idea.
Because that's not really the optimal space for a playground, right? It's beautiful right by the creek, but it's not really the best area for a playground. One of the reasons you had trouble with your existing surfacing is it should have been adhered to a concrete pit curb. And it wasn't, so that causes a lot of problems. So it wasn't done
You mean
properly.
an edge?
There should be a
all the
curb,
way around?
yeah, concrete curb around it.
But we had a different company that did not think about that stuff, because we talked about that, like, what, and they were like, well, this kid could fall down and strike their head, and I was like, you could do that right there on the sidewalk, the same exact thing, but, okay.
I do think probably, I think it's a great idea to put a dog park in, if there's a need for that. Because with playground equipment, you're either compliant or you're not compliant. It doesn't, there's no grandfather rules. So, and that equipment, that structure has a lot of problems besides just the ADA transfer station.
When you say the structure, you're talking the structure that had the
The
slide on it, right in the
Yes.
middle, is that
Yeah,
right? It has
correct.
multiple features, all that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there's some pieces of playground equipment that I think are probably in good shape. I think and we didn't do a full inspection. There are companies that do playground safety inspections. They'll test the surfacing to make sure it meets drop testing requirements. That might be a good place to start. I know the equipment that we're talking about needs to come out. My recommendation would be for it to come out. You may be able to retain the climbing feature on the far east side. The toddler equipment on the far west side seems to be in pretty good shape. You may be able to retain that. So swings are tougher to say. All playground equipment deteriorates from the inside out. So condensation gets inside those posts. A lot of times you don't see the rust that may be accumulating. And swings are pretty inexpensive. So if those swings have been in 15 years, 20 years, I would say get rid of them just for safety's sake. So you don't have a liability issue going forward. I've had safety inspectors tell me they've looked at what they thought were perfectly good swings, and because of the rust accumulating on the inside, a period of time after they've done their inspection, they've had a crossbar fail. And to me, for no more money than what a swing set costs, probably start over with the swing.
I like Andy's idea about expansion. My problem with the dog park is I used to walk along, Riverside going down in front of the Argo. People don't pick up after the dogs.
Might be a water thing too, Jeremy, is there a water quality, I mean, because it's right next to the creek, I mean, you'd have to have thousands of dogs, although Evergreen did shut that one down because of water quality. Chuck.
Oh, thank you.
I have another one too, but I like the idea of like swings. What I would like is, I like your two smaller things, like I love the big slides, I love the spinny thing, that reminds me of our spinny things that nearly killed us.
See,
I love those, but like, could we do the two smaller things and maybe put the slide, like the slide and the spinner and the little small thing and expand it and have all three of them and still have swings in a toddler area? We've expanded it. We've taken out the problems.
Sure, there's a lot of things you can do. There's,
Like, I looked at that, I was like, how many things can we fit in here?
and that's a good question, because there's a lot of safety rules that we have to
Yes.
follow. Every piece of playground equipment, we're going down a rabbit hole now, every piece of playground equipment has what's called a use zone. And that's basically 6 feet outside the perimeter of the playground equipment itself. So if a slide comes down, it's gonna be 6 feet off the end of a slide.
No, that's right. I would just like to see what else we could do, like if we're gonna expand, because we talked about that anyway.
Yeah.
So if we can find an area, if we can set aside an area that you're interested in turning into a playground, then we can build the playground that you want, basically.
I also like Kate's idea, because if we're gonna have the skate park playground, we're gonna have this playground. I will not get off the soapbox until we have the water splash area over by the powder house park. Yeah, I love that. So these are gonna be continual things that need.
You're worried about condensation in a swing? A water park feature would be.
No, over by the
terrifying.
powder house. No, this is over by the powder
Yeah,
house.
up one of them.
Yeah, up one of, no, it's up to the creek.
Oh, thank you. And also Ruth Miller.
Ruth Mill Park, yeah.
Dylan just put up on the screen there, the area that we're talking about
Yeah.
between the greenway and the fence, the existing
Yeah.
play bar. It's not a huge area, but it is an area that we talked, that would be easy to expand the
But
playground.
if we just
Slide
did it
in
for
the
right now,
spinning thing.
pull the fence out, like
Yeah.
you said, and just put a brand new piece of equipment there. 4 different platforms where other equipment can get moved into, and then when you can decide in the future, what do you wanna do with that? Could be picnic tables back there so that
It could be a
parents
shelter
are
area.
sitting there and hanging out while their kids are running around.
That park gets used so
It does.
much in the summer. There are so many kids there, and with it being at the base of the arbor right there, like right where the
It's gonna
bridge
get
comes
more.
over,
I
it's
agree.
gonna get so much use. And if we're trying to, really make our mark and really try to come into everything that we have new around us, I think having that crappy park is just a big smudge, a big huge smear on our
Yeah.
face.
It's just
Where it's
something,
like, wow, I can't,
I mean, to be fair to the city though, let's be fair, cause I've been doing this a long time and I know you guys have too. It really does, it's not on your radar unless you're a parent. Like, I hate to say that, but
Absolutely.
I just never really, I drive by and everybody looks like they're safe and nobody's bleeding, so I'm happy.
yeah, absolutely, but it's something that is going, it's something that I'm glad we're addressing. It's
Yeah.
definitely something, and I think we need
We
to
need
do
a better plan.
something.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with both of you. And a bit of a frustrating issue, for example, we are spending an amazing amount of money on parks right now.
Yeah,
So we got $1.25 million grant. But we're painted into a corner. We can only use it for the ball field park area improvement, right? And I have no doubt it's gonna be great when it's done.
sure.
And prior to that, we had money actually at Sarasee Park several years ago. You may remember we brought in those men's and ladies modular restrooms.
Mhm.
That was a nice amenity. And also down at Ruth Park, we had spent about, I think, close to $80,000. Yeah, so in the meantime, I think CRC Park absolutely, its time has passed. But like we can't raid the $1.25 million grant to help here a little bit. So we're gonna have to rely
It
on.
does need done though. Chuck.
Oh, I agree.
I just had Rod come and take a look at the pavilion. And the roof on it is completely ruined. And the wood is rotten. Underneath, it needs redecked and re-roofed.
Wow.
To re-roof that and have it look like the bathroom, I'm pretty sure it was like 22,000.
Oh God, that's actually
I
better than.
well,
I thought it would be.
that was a good suggestion. I know this is an aside. I don't wanna waste anybody's time.
Huh?
We
No,
just
the one at
priced out a
CRC.
modular drop on site.
Everything that's old.
And you already
is
have
gone
the,
now, pretty
you
much.
already have the
Concrete.
cement. It's $10,000, and this is just the basic for 4 walls with sliding glass door and a garage door. And that's a company, that's in Fruta, but I can see if they have a sister company on this side, it's just as giggles to see what does it cost to come in and put down a pavilion that's, bolted to the ground, obviously, sturdy, all metal, and just see what that costs.
We do shelters as well.
You
so
give us a
we can
price,
help you
so.
out with that.
But like it walks in and you build it on site, or is it modular,
It's,
you roll
it's
it
a
in?
steel, pre-engineered building or shelter.
I mean,
Gotta fix the
I'm
roof.
very much okay with getting away from wood on anything in the mountains, just because we do have that rot issue and the sun, heat, cold.
Not to get too far off track, but if we were to replace that shelter, we had talked about making that more of a performance venue or capable of being a right now, it's really not the best for performances.
Sure.
Could you do like the salt box shape? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
It's
maybe
kind of
if
more
we
open
were to
face.
rebuild it or put in a prefab, make it so it can be versatile. It both is for a shelter, but it also can be used for an occasional performance concert
Sure.
or whatever.
Yeah, we have done shelters. We did one for a school in Thornton a few years ago. That was more of an amphitheater style, so it was kind of a clamshell shape.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, how much equipment can we squeeze in?
Well, we gotta get some, go ski down.
Even if you do the 6 feet around each thing.
And the 6 feet around each thing, because the two that are the 2 last ones are 58,000 and 55,000.
That's not including the base though, right?
Yeah, it is.
So that was including
Oh,
some
good.
surfacing, that was
Yeah.
patching some of the areas.
Hmm.
Now,
Sorry, I didn't get into the whole playground thing.
No, that's
Go
okay.
ahead, look at it.
I'm kind of over it throughout the.
If we can delineate a space, I can start designing some things for you to look at. And what I would do, if you would like to, look at, it's always a good idea to separate age groups. So in playgrounds, we have 2 to 5 and 5 to 12. So it's a good idea to have a separate space for the 2 to 5-year-olds and a separate space for the 5 to 12. So, that's a good way of delineating the space, have a separate playground pit,
Right,
for the 2 to 5s, a separate for the 5 to 12. For the 5 to 12, you can have the swings included and some spinning, activities so that they have a few more things to do.
The counselor in Boston.
I think it's a great idea. I think the idea of having the idea to open it all up and kind of making it, and now I mean, we could still do it where you have the littles over here and a smaller, and the bigs over here. And then
Yeah.
sort of the parents here in the corner, middle, like you're looking at both edges.
And if you want to go with that unitary surface, what you have now is called poured in place rubber. We call that a unitary surface because it's all one
Yeah.
surface. There's artificial turf, there's poured in place. The poured in place that you have, I don't really like for our climate. We build playgrounds all over the country. It works really well in climates that don't have freeze thaw. To me, artificial turf works a lot better up here. And it's a lot easier to maintain and to patch when you have to patch it, and you will have to patch it at some place.
I love artificial turf, I would say that.
It looks good in the mountains.
Looks good at your house.
I have a whole backyard.
So I would probably steer you more towards that type of unitary surfacing. When you get into loose fill, you're looking at engineered wood fiber, loose fill rubber mulch. Because of the wind we had, I live in Evergreen, because of the wind we have here.
It'll all end up in the creek.
Yeah, you're always topping it off, you're always replacing it. It's good price wise, but you are gonna replace it a lot up here.
The library knows.
Right, and then artificial turf.
I'm very aware of
we
this.
use. They've got, there's some at the school they put in and it's nearly nil.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea.
That was Kate's idea.
it's brand new. I was actually gonna ask you, it's a brand new surface, it's a brand new, grass, fake grass. 2 years that was
I think
used,
it's like 2 years.
and nobody's on it now, and I was just wondering, is that something that we could recycle? Mostly because I do like fake grass, but it's a terrible thing,
Yeah,
so.
I won't say no, we'd have to look at it.
Sure.
Because we deal with a certain manufacturer, they actually carry the warranty on those materials.
Sure.
We don't, we carry a labor warranty for a year. They're gonna cover it for 7 to 10 years, depending on the type of grass. I don't know that we'd be able to warranty.
Yes,
longer than
gotcha.
a year.
Well, this was an important discussion, just getting a little tight on time, so we'll have 2
Yeah.
more items. Anything else, folks wanna cover before we move to the next item?
I guess you're gonna ask whether we should allow him to move forward with some sort of like
Do you like the idea of maybe just trying to put in a new section that meets standards?
I really
on
think
that
that's
south
an
section?
excellent idea.
And then a full proposal, and then we may have to remove some existing equipment, is what I hear him saying at the very least. But it sounds like there's some toddler,
Stuff.
play, equipment that might still be okay. Maybe the swing set stays for now, and then we try to phase this a little bit.
Sharon, how do you feel about that?
I think that sounds like a great idea. I think
Okay,
Same.
So maybe something like the slide and the spinny thing. In
What-
front.
I think there was a big piece of equipment that you guys liked.
I like the very first one, but I also like the three big slides and I
oh,
love
that
the-
was good, yeah.
I like the 3 big slides and I love the spinny thing.
You should ask a child.
Well, here's what I was gonna suggest, if you guys don't mind, because I think this is where Alex is coming back tonight to talk, and I think that some people on council might wanna gather together and be the playground committee like was done 20 years ago. I will not be on this one. But Alex, and I think there's some parents that wanna be on it as well, so let's ask the parents what they think, And here's the parameters, and here's the examples, not what you want, here's the examples
That's
of
how we
what
got a
you
$2
may
million
be able to
proposal
have.
before.
That's what I'm saying, we are
Yeah.
giving them very firm examples. But I think that would help. build some.
But I think we have some direction on maybe an
Yeah.
interim solution, it's not the full solution, but something that we can afford that can help fix, the
Yeah.
problems that we're having right now, or at least try to address them.
All right,
So,
all right, well, that sounds good. I want to thank you
You'll be able
for
to-
coming
Thank
up
you
for
so
Alex.
much.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Fine.
I've already volunteered.
And,
I think it's very fair.
We're gonna talk about
Playgrounds, who would have
water
thought?
conservation measures.
Thank you.
And there's all those
I'm not sure.
I think you said Ed will.
Oh, okay. Hey, Chuck. So, the water, we have no snow. We was up at the reservoir. And there's barely a trickle coming over the spillway. Let's see, what we have at the, Chicago Creek. Where usually this time of year, we might have, say, 8 or 9 cubic feet per second in Chicago Creek. This year we have 4.7.
Wow. About half.
Yeah, so it's
That
trickling.
much.
And even last year, okay, so this blue is the last year's number. And the gray one, is it gray? The one above that is the average. So even last year, we were lower than what the average was.
And now we're even lower.
And yeah, now we're even lower. So, let's talk about water usage. And if we have to restrict people, what could we do? So I'm looking at,
Me, that's fine. So you mind if I start?
Nope, you go right ahead.
Bitching about this all week. So the Front Range from Thornton down to, Colorado Springs, out to Erie, going to Aurora, have already started their water restrictions. So that is literally the entire Front Range. So my thinking is that, we already know we don't have any water. We're certainly not gonna be able to give anybody any water. But somebody in Thornton comes up to Idaho Springs for their adorable day at Yargo, and they're walking down the street, and here's somebody at 12 o'clock in the afternoon doing this with their water sprinklers.
And watering the sidewalk.
And they're watering the sidewalk. And I'm gonna go to my county, my city council, and I'm gonna say, how does Idaho Springs get to water during the day and just waste water when I am restricted to 1 day a week? They're actually on 2, but I think that they should be on 1. And that's when I think that our water attorney is gonna really be earning his big bucks trying to defend our water rights. And so that is my first concern. The second concern is that we are literally half the water that we normally get, and we are in a dangerous fire situation. So our reservoir, which is all, I know, but
They don't correlate. For this conversation, they don't.
okay, all
correlate.
right, I'll take it out of there. But if we ever needed to use our reservoir for anything like this, that is the closest one, and I would hate to be using our drinking water for fire mitigation. So those are my big concerns. I think that if we get ahead of the game and we say, hey, we're gonna be water restrictive, and one of my ideas was, everybody does this 2-day, Tuesday, Thursday kind of thing, and they all do it on different spots all throughout town. I was gonna ask you particularly, Jeremy, doesn't it make more sense to sort of like create a subclimate when you do one side of town on Tuesday or Thursday, and you do the other side of town on Wednesday, Friday? Because now the guy next to you, it just seems like you create like a subclimate of moisture if that's how you're watering overnight. I
How
could
many
maybe,
people actually have lawns where they water?
I don't know, so.
a lot of people water, they don't necessarily have
I
lawns,
think
but
the
they
whole
have.
point is to reduce your daily average usage by whatever percentage that it feels is appropriate. Metro is 20%. That's commercial and residential, which is in stage 1, which the second stage, which the rural will go to, is a whole different dynamic, for those who live through it. You have, I think whatever we do, this needs to be something that's easy to understand for the people who live there. Because this is gonna be a new concept for 99%
All
of
of
people who live in
them,
this. country.
everybody I've talked to is like, what? It's like,
Right. So it's gonna be a new concept, and there's gonna be a little bit of enforcement and certification in the first couple of months until they get the hang of it. But I think it makes sense to lay it out and look at, if we break down into halves or thirds or whatever that daily, no, the average daily use and peak use needs to be is what we need to get to with Ed's numbers and go, okay, this is the threshold I want to be at. And then we figure out roughly how many homes per day get water for how long and the average gallon per hour.
Right,
We'll do some math. We hate math, respectfully,
Let's do it for me.
I think that's where we're at.
Nobody knew.
Well, if
Yeah.
they were watering at night or
That's
in
what
the
the-
early morning
well,
hours,
we should also follow the Front Range rules, which is after 6 p.m. and not after 10 a.m.
right, so, and our peak is slightly different, so it's from 11 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night or so.
So, and I think driven by the business, right, the commercial
Yeah,
usage peak because of. the-
Okay, so 8 o'clock till 11, is that what your suggestion?
Yeah, so we need to water, in my opinion, before, about 10 a.m. before, so we have a little bit of buff between that and 11.
Yeah.
And I would prefer water 7 o'clock and beyond, right? Maybe an hour before the peak,
Okay,
because the businesses are winding down a little bit, but that's that average.
right.
This kind of goes into other conversations that we're in the middle of too, so from water usage perspective.
right, the second idea that I had was, could we say nobody gets water out of the water station during the peak time?
I think that's completely fair, as long as we don't have a restriction with our, when we contract water to like Kramer or whatever that looks like, well, that doesn't cause a problem with those existing agreements, I think.
Well, I don't look at exactly what the agreement is, but, you know, probably please don't fill your trucks between, you know,
When we're
11 and-
struggling, yeah. And then there's also drought pricing too, I mean, if you, I know, but they are doing it on the Front Range, I'm just suggesting things that are being implemented.
So Denver Water, I think the story's on the news now, but if you look at drought pricing, part of drought pricing is if I have an enterprise that says I need to make $1 million a year to cover my operational costs, Denver Water's huge. And I'm gonna sell 20% less water, therefore I expect a reduction in my annual income. Drought pricing offsets that so that operationally they can still maintain all of the responsibilities in their district, the water plants, the treatment, the reservoir in Grand County, all that still stays status quo. That's where drought pricing comes in.
Right, so, and how would
So
that,
technically it would be a thing if you reduce water usage in town. Well, we have a threshold, that goes into how many people use more than the baseline
right,
for that math. So that would be another conversation of
more math, you guys,
more math of how many users go above the baseline, residential at least.
right,
And that reduction of 20%, what's the impact of the town monetarily? Because our cost to operate isn't really gonna change that much.
well, that's good, and then
Well,
that, maybe that's not.
if we end up using less water, then we're gonna have less revenue.
Well, that's
We're
what,
still
that's,
paying the same amount for filters.
Right.
Our costs are pretty set for same number of staff hours.
right. But that's what you're talking about, that's how the
That's
offset
where drought pricing
comes in, yeah,
is designed to offset that, to make your organization whole, so you can do all the things you're supposed to do every day without working in an operational deficit or budget deficit to survive the lower income levels that result from people doing what they're asking to do, is use up water.
right.
Right, the trick would be to get them to use the water in the middle of the night. When no one else is using water.
With this, like I see in this draft resolution, it says town-owned parks only water at certain days too.
Mm-hmm.
It would apply to that as well.
Oh, yeah, we would have to follow the same rules.
Well, and then I think we've got sprinklers, I think, that work in all of them, right, apparently.
Yeah,
So we can water at night.
They're on timers.
Wonder.
We also, during the summer, have that summer averaging where, residential users get a discount in their sewer usage because we assume they're watering their lawn. That could be turned off.
I think.
So then residential
I think it needs
customers
to be
would have
turned
to
off
pay
at-
for that. That might make
It's a
people
good
use
idea, Wanda.
less.
That's a very easy and justifiable change. I know it won't be popular, but if people would understand it and say, you know, this year we just can't do that.
That's your drop pricing.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you have to measure it. I think it's a real conversation of, like, we need to make $100.
Yep.
To operate. We anticipate making $80. We need to make up the $20 because we don't have a piggy bank with $20. Therefore,
When you do
so
drought
then
pricing,
would we have to figure out how to move the money from wastewater to water? When we're collecting wastewater
Isn't
money,
it all the same enterprise? Is the water?
It's the same enterprise fund. For budgeting, we break it out
But it's
into.
split with the
water and
Gotcha.
wastewater.
Of the umbrella.
But you could probably do some more math for that one out too.
We could probably do math, I think we could agree on it.
You guys,
How that-
Math people.
I don't wanna get us in trouble
No, I don't want to get.
spending money on
I
something
mean,
we're not supposed to.
no,
Or,
absolutely,
or
absolutely.
in some kind of weird way.
Yeah.
All right, anything further before I bring up the last item?
So Mayor, I think what I'm hearing is there's interest in us bringing back a draft of at least, at the very least, awareness guidelines. But maybe we go so far as restrictions. Now, if we have restrictions that need to be enforced, we're gonna have a conversation with the police department, particularly the code enforcement officer, about how that's gonna work.
Right.
And that those additional duties, what that looks like, 'cause that's not something we've done
Yep.
before.
Do we
So,
need an ordinance?
Everybody all right with that?
Yep.
Right. We would at least have something or an ordinance in place that says we're gonna do number two.
we'll check it
Because
out.
this hit
I think we.
number, so
Right.
we're on number two.
Exactly. All right, I'd like to bring up our last item. It should be relatively quick. And I think I'm gonna turn to Guy for this, the alternative work schedule update.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I can make this very quick. On September 22nd, 2025, the council allowed staff to enter into 410 schedule. March 23rd of this year, but you asked for some feedback after 6 months or so of it being operational. So that's what this update is. On March 23rd of this year, I sent an email directly to the department heads. And asking about 8 open-ended questions. I just want general feedback, and those questions are listed here. To note, Public Works, so the police were already on a 410. Public Works is still working at 5/8, and your administrative staff is on a 410. The overall takeaway from the staff, it's overwhelmingly positive. Okay, so that's what we're hearing, and I think that's the bottom line. We're not hearing bad feedback from consultants or citizens. So it doesn't appear that business is stagnated, or people cannot access us, but not hearing back in a timely manner. But staff overwhelmingly, at least the administrative staff, felt very, very good about this. I think, they would be jarring if we went back to the 5/8. Yeah, I mean, that's a real quick and dirty staff recommendation is to.
All right.
And have a discussion with,
Before we close out the work session, any questions for Guy?
So that was my question. So Public Works is still on the 5/8. Do they want to move to 410s? Cause we would have to stagger with some of like the weekend
I,
meetings and.
I think I would answer this for Ed. He was pretty adamant to leave him alone.
Oh,
We work for
Okay.
their 7 day, but I think all I would ask for a follow-up is just do an anonymous questionnaire to staff that says if you could improve this work schedule anyway, what would you do?
I think that's a good idea. I think we need to do that.
It's pretty positive and unique what you come back with.
Mhm.
Dalton's department has just figured out a way to do a QR code and request all employees.
Yeah.
To fill it out. If you could change your work schedule, how would you do it? Make it kind of open-ended, and sometimes it's pretty enlightening what you get back from those.
Mhm.
We've got some really good operational ideas out of this exact. If you could do it any way you want, what would you do? So it's a good way to gauge, their ability to say, this is great, but what if we did this? And sometimes that's the one thing that makes the whole world better.
And it's, Public Works, Water and Sewer, which is all one department in the Public Works now, is a 7-day-a-week operation.
Yep.
And, yes, they have less need for as much staff on the weekend typically, but they need people working every day of the week.
Yeah.
Do we pay
So,
differential for Sundays?
they get overtime. Right now, it's scheduled overtime.
Cause I asked.
The way it was handled a few years ago, but I think we need to revisit that. I
Yeah, we
agree
used
with
to
you.
pay, previous jobs, I would pay differentials for shifts that started later in the day and other shifts.
Yeah.
And I would pay a differential if Sunday's your regular scheduled work day, if it's longer than overtime day. But you made an additional, what, roughly it was 10% across the board. You made 10% on all the days you work. And it was actually a savings because you paid less in overtime. It also helped them on taxes because it changed that a little bit as far as how it gets calculated. And they still got compensated for the fact that Sunday was part of the work. It was different ideas as far as that goes.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. Take 5 and we'll reconvene.
For a regular session.
My knees.
Okay. Late. I don't feel great on that.
Easy doing.
Good, how you doing?
I'm just saying.
No, not your bad.
Oh, God. Totally. Just got out of the habit. So, and I've been on it.
Stay or does this move?
You don't. I don't know where.
Okay.
You don't have.
Okay, fair enough, me too.
Really?
But I want to.
Goes through that door.
Yeah. No, just give up.
Oh, got the attorney.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. I know. See, that's what I was talking about.
But I do.
Oh, yeah, because she's that mouse.
I would have
God.
I would love it. Literally love it. I'm looking good. I don't know. It has to go over.
How are you doing?
It's just, it's even.
It's just fun.
Okay, my real honor is the-
I was like, yeah. I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Great, thank you.
You got my special.
Carmen, I told her it is. Hi.
You what? I have to lower your chair.
Oh.
This is my jam.
You bet. Is it over there, Jerry?
Okay.
Right.
Oh, I know, everyone.
We're just gonna-
I'm well aware.
Are y'all in?
We're all in. Chairs have been lowered. Yeah, I'm moving the whole bag over in the corner because it was 400 pounds.
Why do I get you up?
So I'm just gonna get up over and say.
Thank you. I appreciate this.
Brandon, it's been a minute. How are you?
How you feeling? How's everything going with the stuff?
Good. Check it out.
I did. I was this morning.
I did.
Well, I will.
What's that, honey?
I try to get one.
Oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not going for that much loss.
I wanna be like 160.
You were so close.
How tall are you? You're very short. Some people do. I probably will stay on a regular dose. Just kind of keep my mind friendly. Old has been doing it from it started. And it's like when I went off today, because the chicken noise, that's where I'm thinking about food all the time. And so I kind of have that. So I don't want to have that.
Yeah.
It does actually restrict what you can eat, those and that, some stuff is just like, man, I eat that and it hurts. Yeah. Which is good. It's stuff that
Dylan, no
doesn't-
rush, but let me know when we're good. We are good? Okay.
It just really works. No, it's hard.
You're good.
I love it, but
Andy, you good? Yes. Okay.
Dylan, good?
Yep. I'd like to welcome everybody to the April 13th, 2026 regular council meeting for the city of Idaho Springs. We'll call to order 7:15. And I'd like to start us off with roll call, please.
Jim Clark, Sharon Bassist. Here. Kate Collier.
Here.
Janine Mariani. Here. Lisa Manifold. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Jeremy Jones.
Here.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Here. And I would like to make a little pre-meeting announcement. I have had bronchitis for 10 weeks. So I appreciate everybody hanging with me while my voice has been going in and out and I've even more inarticulate than usual. But anyways, if you hear me hacking, I want you to know that I have been assured I am beyond the contagious period. So thank you very much. All please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. We have an agenda before us, and I would like to amend it with a few things. I would like to remove from the approval of the bills this O'Hagan Myers invoice number 661623 in the amount of $1,988. This invoice will be paid by the city's insurance company, Sursa. And Sursa will then invoice the city for this amount, which is under the deductible. Also, I'd like to add an action item to the police department report for consideration of approval. And that is the proof of the plaque for the new police station. I think that was, if you didn't get it in email, this is it. I think it's quite a striking plaque to adorn the new police station. And lastly, I would like to add an item under mayor and council section to select the date for the annual city retreat. Fridays did not work for some council members into early June. So we do have following additional dates that DOLA Regional Manager Todd Leopold is available to facilitate. And with those amendments, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Janine. And any discussion of the agenda?
Are we gonna talk about this during the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, anything further? All those in favor, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Does anyone tonight feel they have a conflict of interest? I will start off, as is noted under item number 8, approval of the bills. There is a bill with my name on it, and I will be recusing myself from that vote. Anything further? All right. We'll move to approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes from March 23rd, 2026.
Thank you, Lisa. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Jeremy. And any discussion of the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, next up is approval of the bill with my name on it from March 23rd. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the bill for Chuck Harmon from March 23rd, 2026.
Thank you, Jeremy. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Janine. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Sharon Bassist. I approve. Kate Collier. Yes. Janine Mariani.
Yes.
Lisa Manifold.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
All right, next up is a motion to approve the bills through April 13th. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the bills through April 13th, 2026.
Thank you, Kate. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Lisa. Any discussion of the bills?
And just as was noted in the agenda approval, that one exception for the one bill to be, one invoice to be pulled.
Yes,
yeah,
and
sorry
we
about that.
will
Okay.
be pulling the O'Hagan Myers invoice 661623
As amended.
as amended.
Second amendment.
All right, thank you, Lisa. And any further discussion of the bills? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Lisa Manifold.
Yes.
Janine Mariani.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Sharon Bassist.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Jeremy Jones. Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes. Next up, we have public comment. And I have Alex, you're welcome, to come on up. And during public comment, there's normally no back and forth between council. Everybody has 3 minutes. It's our time to listen. And then Alex, after you, I'll be checking to make sure nobody else had signed up and that we don't have anybody online. So Alex, please, Wanda's gonna swear you in.
Will you please state your name and address for the record?
Alexander Bushnell, 2117 Wall Street, Idaho Springs, Colorado, 80452, PO Box 585. Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. My name is Alexander Bushnell, and I want to start by saying I'm glad to hear that the city is taking steps to bring in a parks expert. That feels like a positive move, and I appreciate the attention that is being given to the condition of CRC Park. I'd also like to say I'd be very interested in being involved in any committee or group that is formed around this effort. I care deeply about this park, not just as a teacher, but as someone who spends time there with my own kids. We're there regularly, and we actually help pick up trash every weekend around Clear Creek and in the park area. Even so, there always seems to be more showing up and keeping the space clean is an ongoing effort for the community. I also want to raise a few additional maintenance issues that are still visible in the park. There are exposed plastic pipes, likely irrigation or some kind of sprinkler line, that are left uncovered. Several tree beds are missing mulch and have exposed ground cloth showing. One of the picnic tables that was broken was never replaced. It was simply taken away, which reduces usable seating in the park rather than restoring it. These aren't large capital projects. They're basic upkeep items, but they add up to how the park feels and functions for families. I also want to give some credit where it's due. I did notice Idaho Springs code enforcement recently addressing vehicles parked improperly in the CRC Parks reserved parking area. And that kind of presence and enforcement does make a difference, and I really appreciate seeing it. At the last council meeting, there was also discussion around larger ideas like a splash pad and concerns about water usage and evaporation. And I just want to respectfully say that from what I'm hearing in the community, that's not the primary concern for most families right now. The message I consistently hear and what I see myself is much similar. People want the city to maintain what we already have. Fix what is broken, replace what has been removed, keep the park clean, safe, and fully usable. Before we consider new additions, I think there is real value in restoring what was originally there and making sure it is properly cared for. Thank you for your time. And again, I appreciate the attention being given to this issue, and I'm hopeful we can be a part of a solution moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex, may we get a copy of your comments?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And do we have anybody else signed up on the sheet?
No.
Okay. Dylan, do we have anybody online?
Nobody online.
All right, then that will conclude, public comment. I would like to move to, item number 11. Appointments for city boards and commissions. I would like to propose, that Patty Tyler, be appointed to HPRC alternate member. And, do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Lisa. And under discussion, I would just add, I served for many years with her on the Historic Society's board, and I found her to be a tremendous help. So I think she will continue to be a good member. Any further discussion?
I would just like to add on to that, I serve with her currently on the board, and I think that she is a good addition to the board. I think we have an excellent board right now, so I'm really pleased that she decided to serve again.
Lisa, I'm glad to hear that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Sharon Bassist,
Yes.
Janine Mariani,
Yes.
Lisa Manifold.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Mayor Potem Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes. All right, next up, we've got ourselves a public hearing on the Liquor Licensing Authority. And before we start, Jeremy, my understanding is you'll not be participating.
I will not be participating in this because I already approved their application on the fire authority. So
All right.
You step out and let you guys.
I fully understand, and we're still in a good spot as far as the quorum goes. And this is a public hearing on an application for a new entertainment facility liquor license for Miners Point Ventures LLC. Doing business as the Mighty Argo located at 2350 Riverside Drive. And this next agenda item is a public hearing on a new liquor license application. The city council serves as the liquor licensing authority. Before the hearing begins, I will describe how the hearing will be conducted. This is a hearing, but the strict rules of evidence do not apply. Any evidence that is relevant can be considered by this authority. As mayor, I may limit testimony or evidence that is irrelevant or repetitive. The order of the hearing will be as follows. We'll hear the report and findings from our city staff. The deputy city clerk will provide this information. The applicant has the opportunity to present evidence or testimony if they wish. And then any other party in interest may present evidence and testimony. By law, these parties include an adult resident of the city, an owner or business manager of a business located in the city, a representative of a school located within 500 feet of the premises, and a representative of an organized neighborhood group within the city. The applicant and city staff may respond and address anything said by parties in interest. The applicant is then permitted to give a final statement if they choose. Throughout this process, the licensing authority may ask questions. After all evidence and testimony has been received, I'll close the public hearing. The authority will make a decision by motion and roll call vote. I now open the public hearing on an application for a new entertainment facility liquor license for Miners Point Ventures LLC, DBA the Mighty Argo located 2350 Riverside Drive. The time is now 7:28, and I invite Deputy City Clerk to present her report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have my report in your packet in front of you. I'll just highlight, I'll just speak on a couple of highlights on this investigation. The application was published in the Clear Creek Current on April 2nd, that's the A in your packet, and was posted on the premises on March 25th of 2026. The zoning of the premises is planned development, which permits the sale of alcohol beverages. A petition concerning the proposed premises has been submitted with 30 city resident signatures. Of those, 26 signed in favor of the new license, 3 signed against the new license. This petition is labeled Exhibit B in your packet. 1 signature from the petition has been excluded as that signer resides outside the city limits of Idaho City. I'm here for any questions you may have regarding this application if you have any.
All right, so far early on, council, any questions for Wonder?
Yeah, thank you, Wonder.
All right, next up, I will give, oh, yes.
If I may.
I can also state that all referring agencies, EMS, fire, PD, had no issues with any of the applicants for this license. So
All right, well, that is very valuable to know. Thank you.
correct.
I would invite the applicant up as an opportunity to present evidence or testimony if they wish.
Good evening, Mr.
Hi.
Mayor and Council.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Brandon Sandberg. I'm an attorney with Deal Carr, Stonebreaker and Hutchings. You would need to swear me in.
I do. I need your name and address for the record, and then
Sure.
I'll swear you in.
Perfect. Brandon Sandberg. My firm's address is 455 Sherman Street, Suite 300, Denver, Colorado, 80203.
Excellent. Can you raise your right hand?
Absolutely.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, I represent the applicant. This evening, we will have testimony from a couple of witnesses. With your permission, we'll have Ms. Eva Garrettson with Liquor Pros testify regarding the petitioning results, the show needs and desires. We'll also have the registered manager, Ethan Mueller, who will be testifying. And then we do have a couple of other representatives that are here from the Mighty Argo, not to testify, but just to show support. Kyle Warden, who's going to be our general manager. And then you all know Mary Jane Lovely, who is also here this evening. So with the authority's permission, if I can please have Ms. Garrettson testify first.
Please.
Thank you.
Can you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes, for the record, my name is Eva Garrettson. Last name is Garretson. I'm one of the owners of Liquor Licensing Professionals doing business as Liquor Pros. And we are located at 5515 Saddle Rock Place in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Garrettson, I know you already introduced yourself to the authority, but why don't you talk about your role with Liquor Pros and what Liquor Pros does?
Thank you. Mayor and members of the authority, thank you for having me here, Wonder. Liquor Pros is a third-party petitioning company. We conduct needs and desire surveys for liquor, marijuana, and cabaret licenses throughout the entire state of Colorado. We've worked in over 130 different jurisdictions in the state. And I've been involved in over 4,500 surveys and just as many hearings.
So it's not your first time?
No.
Okay, fair enough. And you've actually done work in Idaho Springs before, is that correct?
Yes, sir, we have.
Okay, and you are a third-party petitioning company, which means what regarding results?
Which means we do not guarantee results. We are not in favor. We do not sway one way or another. We take around factual information. We relay that back to business owners, managers, and residents. We work with the city clerk's office, which Wonder has been amazing. I've worked in many jurisdictions where they don't have a clue. Always appreciate the fact that folks know what they're doing. So she was wonderful to deal with.
Second, that she's been amazing, so thank you for all your help.
Nice.
Will you talk a little bit about the petitioning services that you provided here, the process you went through?
Sure. So once again, we were working with Wonder. She did let us know that we were to use the city's petitions. So we went ahead and got with her to use your petition packets, usually going around. Sometimes we use our own petition packets, which we carry a business residential packets, and then ask those folks to identify themselves. It has a format, but we went ahead and we used what was provided to us. We did also carry around with us the website with the applicant's website in case folks had a question. Nobody had a question. Everybody knew what this was, everybody knew what this was going on. So we relayed that information. We simply provided the information saying that this was specifically for the liquor license, and that the type of license that was being applied for does mean that they can have full liquor, which means beer, wine, and spirits as well.
Can you describe the results that you had and what you did with those results?
Sure, reiterating with that. So we did carry around with us the map, the city map of Idaho Springs. And we went in specific door to door. So we made sure we were inside the boundary area. However, once again, we did find somebody who was outside. So we did do an audit of that and we disqualified one of those residents for not being inside the boundary area. Once we did that, we were able to obtain a total, once again, of 29 signatures. We did make 120 attempts of door knocks. 78 folks were not home. 12 declined to participate. 1 was disqualified, 3 with no signatures, and 26 with yes. Typically, we have another remarks section that we ask folks to write in. We did offer the back of the petition page if they did have any comments or concerns on speaking to whether they were in favor or opposed to this license. We asked them to write on the back and we would just reference the line that they signed. Nobody wanted to write anything down, but specifically for reasons of opposition. So we did talk to those folks, and those folks that did have concern, we did remind them that there is a public hearing. If they did have any questions or concerns, that they could address those concerns directly with the authority or with the applicant. So we did let them know to contact the city clerk's office because there is a public hearing that they can attend.
And did you file those results with the clerk as
I
required?
did, and then we overnighted the originals to her as well.
Thank you. And I believe the authority has that as Exhibit B. Wonderful. Now, based on your experience doing approximately 4,500 petitions, what do these results say regarding needs and desires?
So right now, this is an entertainment liquor license. Right now, this is the only entertainment liquor license you have right here, which already shows a need and desire. But doing the similar format that we follow with what Wanda provided us, the 90% clearly still shows a positive need and desire for this license in the area and that the existing outlets have not yet met that need.
I have no further questions for Ms. Garrettson, but the city attorney or counsel or Mr. Mayor, if you have any questions, your witness, please.
All right, I'll turn it over to our authority. Any questions?
No, just a statement. This is the most thorough liquor authority thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, wow.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Next up, I'm going to ask if we have any party in interest that would like to come up and speak. Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, we had one more representative.
Oh,
from the
I'm sorry. Forgive me, please.
No, it's okay. Thank you. Mr. Miller, come on up.
I mean, I don't need to.
Yeah.
I think you've covered a lot of stuff.
Ethan, can you please state your name and address for the record?
Ethan Muller, Mueller, on South Branch Road, Crescent View, Colorado, 81224.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Great, thank you.
And sir, if you can please explain the authority, how are you associated with the applicant, the Marty Argo?
Well, I originally got hired back in 2019 to do some performer work on the project, but more notably, I came on as a lead consultant in January 2025, largely charged with building out the operational side of the business.
And talk a little bit about your duties and responsibilities over the last few years with the Mighty Argo.
Sure. So, I mean, as I said, largely my scope has been around operations. So building out standard operating procedures, working with the construction team on identifying operating equipment, operational layout. Probably most notable recently is the hiring of key staff members and the onboarding of them.
As one of those key staff members, our general manager who's here tonight.
He's wearing that really nice hat over there.
That's right.
And the badge on his shirt.
Yes, I had to one up me.
Yeah, they were matching tonight. And we do have Mr. Warden here, so if the authority has any questions, want to make sure the general manager was available. Can you talk a little bit about your background in the hospitality industry and why you were such a good fit?
I am such a good fit because that's tough to say. I grew up in the hospitality industry, third generation, starting with my grandmother, most notably in the mountain resort, ski resort industry. I've been working in our businesses since the age of 11. There's not a job either at a ski resort or really in hospitality that I haven't had. And so I think that's largely why I was asked to participate.
Perfect. So I was here before for the earlier session where the model was discussed. So I know that the authority is aware, but give a rundown. What's the concept? What are we doing?
Yeah, you guys probably know, but so the primary
piece of the operation is the Mighty Argo cable car, which I think everyone here knows, starts down here in the village of Idaho Springs, taking you over the top of the trail system owned by the city of Idaho Springs, up to the top of what we call Miners Point, where we have a multitude of areas for customers to walk around, enjoy nature, view nature. And then also we have the Outpost building, which is a food and beverage. That's where our food and beverage operation will be based out of. And directly next to that, we have a music venue for about 200 to 300 individuals.
And talk about some of those outdoor experiences that we're going to be providing.
Yeah, I think broadly speaking, we're looking at an operation that gives people the opportunity to get into nature, to get up into the mountains in a very easy and attainable way. And I think that really sums up what we're trying to do.
Is that a large reason why this project is here in Idaho Springs and some other reasons why we did it here?
Sure, that is definitely part of the reason. I think the project was, completely envisioned by Mary Jane and her neighbor, Cindy Olson, umpteen years ago. But I think it's, as I've been around for a while now, it's been an evolution, of Idaho Springs and what's been here. Idaho Springs has historically been a mining town for a long time. The mill was a big part of that. The mill then became a historic site. Mary Jane eventually purchased that. And I personally view this business or this expansion, really as the next phase of the Mighty Argo.
Although we know that there'll be a lot of out-of-towners and tourists like myself and my family coming up here for it, there's also a large focus on it being a local spot and family friendly. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's definitely something we're hoping that locals use. As I think everyone here knows, the project agreed to free use of the Mighty Argo cable car by all locals. So not charging locals for tickets to come up and experience the Mighty Argo.
Let's talk about you said food and beverage. Let's talk about that. Let's talk first about the food. We are going to have food that's available at all times that we're selling and serving alcohol. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you did recently just prepare a proposed menu that you're anticipating. Is that right?
I did.
And I have extra copies. If I can approach the authority.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if you have enough, so you can take this.
We just did. Sorry.
I've definitely seen copies of it enough if you need it.
We were just going to discuss some of the menu items, and Mr. Mueller was kind enough just to put something together on a menu. You can ignore the highlights. We're not sure why they're highlighted.
It wasn't on the computer screen.
So we're saving paper.
Okay. Does it say draft?
It does not.
If everyone can write draft with their pens.
We only did that for the board members, so they didn't completely hold it to us.
We'll talk a little bit about the food menu. Obviously, you don't need to go through everything. The authority has it, but just hit some of the highlights on what kind of keeps it local and special.
Sure. I think most key and special to the menu is the top item, the Argo pasties. For anyone that knows mining history, pasties were a big part of the meals that miners had. And we wanted to make a nod to that. And we felt that with our culinary expertise, we could not only make a nod to that, but do it in a very delicious and enjoyable way.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, of course.
Is it, can I ask a question, Chuck?
Of course.
So because you guys, and I don't know if this is true, or what's your water situation up there, for running water? Are you guys?
I can definitely answer that. So we do have a water reclamation system up there. So every piece of water utilized is fully treated, processed back to be reused as gray water.
Awesome.
And then to have the initial process, we do have water deliveries to fill those initial tanks. But part of, also to go back to some of the topics that came up earlier tonight, this is going to help us really reclaim every drop utilized to be utilized a second time back within, and we have 2 full tanks up there and a full treatment center on top.
So because of that, what's that, hon?
It's all self-contained.
Okay, and that's great, I love that. I love the gray water thing. My concern is, it sounds like you're gonna have to be forced to use, throwaway stuff instead of washing.
We do have a dishwasher, but it's very limited. Per what Kyle just mentioned and what you're pointing at, that is accurate. We do have a company stated of recycling and composting. So really all the containers, will either be paper or aluminum.
Great.
We're trying to stick very closely to that.
So that'll just be something to be on watch for, is people walking away and not bringing their garbage back to the garbage cans and stuff like that.
Recycling.
Well, we'll have trash and then we'll have recycling and.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a concern blowing around in the wind, yeah.
Fair enough. No, it's, trash is a big part of our, project and, had discussions on it today and pretty much do every daily basis. And to quote an old, clean team, manager, trash never sleeps.
So with us being a local business for things like that, we are committed to being good corporate citizens because this is where we live, where we work, where we play. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we talked about the food menu. Talk a little bit about the alcohol menu. What are you anticipating?
Pretty straightforward. We will have two locations, primary locations up at the Outpost building that serve alcohol. I can pull up the sheets if you would like me to, but on the top level, which is the ground level that you will walk into coming off of the cable car, we will have beer and wine essentially. And then downstairs on the A1 level, we'll have what I consider a traditional bar where you can get beer, wine, liquor, cocktail service. Of also note, we are at least out of the gate really not looking to have a overly expansive bar from the standpoint of products. We're actually really trying to stick to local or regional brands. I'm gonna forget the name of the brand. No, it's a
Branch and Barrel.
Branch and Barrel,
yeah.
is one of the providers we're looking at. And so, not gonna be a traditional bar in the sense that you walk up and there's 10 whiskeys and 10 vodkas and gins and so on and so forth. So we will have the service, but it's not our primary focus.
And the primary focus not being alcohol, it's on the entertainment that we're providing. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. Let's talk a little bit about our employees. Approximately how many employees do we anticipate having?
We anticipate around 70 employees, give or take.
And there'll be a management structure, is that right?
There is a management structure, yes.
And we know that the general manager is here. What are some of the other managerial positions that we'll have?
So starting with Kyle as the general manager of the entire operations, underneath him, we essentially have a head of lifts, a head of culinary operations, food and beverage, and a head of guest services. Below that, we have various managers and supervisors.
And we'll always have some manager that's on duty and available as whenever we are operating.
Yeah, much like any hospitality operation that operates 7 days a week, close to 365 days, you'll always have a manager on duty.
Talk a little bit about the training that our staff is going to receive specifically regarding the sale and service of alcohol.
So all staff will receive training, and staff that actually serve the alcohol will be provided additional training on top of that.
And will our staff go through a state certified responsible vendor training through Liquor Pros?
That's correct.
So all of our staff members that are involved in sale and service of alcohol will be certified.
Correct.
Okay, and then our management staff will go through additional safe serve or serve safe additional training as well.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Let's talk a little bit more about the liquor policies and procedures. In addition to that training that we're going to require, what are some of the other things we're going to do to make sure that we stay a safe and responsible seller and server of alcohol?
So we've written policies within the company, specifically no alcohol consumption while working. That shouldn't come as a surprise. And then also while not working, also while not in uniform. Additionally, on top of that, we have an overarching policy of zero tolerance, meaning any issues that come about that go against our policies, it's one strike, you're out.
And with those written policies and procedures, is that something that our staff is going to receive and sign so they're aware of our requirements?
That is correct, yes.
And will that include our carding requirements?
Yes.
And what are we going to do regarding carding when someone attempts to purchase an alcoholic beverage?
Carding, whether employee or otherwise, our policy is to card anyone and everyone, no matter how you look.
And what about Colorado vertical IDs? We all know when you're under 21, they're vertical. When you turn 21, they're horizontal. What's our policy regarding those?
Our policy to avoid any issues is to not accept those.
Again, we are going to have tourists from other states that come to our great venue. How are we going to be able to know whether or not the IDs are legitimate or not from other states?
So when we do the trainings that we just discussed, We will also be providing our staff in all locations that we serve alcohol, the booklets that essentially show every ID across the country.
I know with entertainment facilities, a question often comes up, how many drinks with one ID? When I go up there, how many can I get with my ID?
How many can you hold? No, I'm just kidding. One drink per ID.
Perfect.
Again, to keep it straightforward and avoid any issues.
So when I'm up there with my wife this summer, she steps away, I can't order a drink for myself and her?
Correct.
Okay.
Really?
Never
She'll
had.
give you a hard time. But that is
Yeah.
correct.
Done a lot of these, I've never heard anyone say as many as you can hold.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Throw a little left
Yeah.
in there, right?
Let's talk a little bit about our layout. So as the authority knows, we have a 12-page layout. There are 3 pages that show the red line, and then the remaining pages are just further detail into those. So I think we'll spend most of the time on those 3 pages. So let's start with the first page, and I believe the authority will see the first page is the only one the lower left-hand corner will have a page number on all of these. So let's start with page 1. We are asking to license everything within that red boundary. Is that correct?
That is correct, and that is as a point of reference, it's the top of the cable car, so this is up at Miners Point.
Okay. And we don't need to go through every single section, but why don't you give us kind of an overview so we can skip some of the following pages?
Sure, I'll be brief, and if I don't explain it, you guys can ask me during the Q&A. But starting on the right side, you have the top terminal of the cable car. And then straight above that, you have a restroom facility. But essentially, as you work left and upwards a little bit on our courtyard, that brings you over to the outpost building. Again, where our primary food and beverage locations are. Directly next to that, which is hard to see because of the size, but looks like stairs, architectural stairs looking down. That is our event pavilion, and that's actually seating area, kind of looking this way, towards the stage and towards the Continental Divide.
And there is delineation and boundaries where the red area is, so it's very clear where alcohol can go and cannot, correct?
Correct. The majority of those are actually, there's physical boundaries.
And will we also have the appropriate signage where no alcohol can leave beyond this point?
Yeah, essentially where you see the blue dots, those are the spots where people could potentially exit the red boundary. And so those will be the primary locations for signage.
And we'll have staff that do monitor the area as well to make sure alcohol is not leaving or coming on unlawfully.
Correct.
Okay. Let's go to page 2 again, just kind of highlight what it is that we are looking at here.
So that is, page 2 is essentially the gondola line. The top dot is the top terminal. The line is the actual gondola line that it travels on. And then the bottom dot is kind of what we call Argo Station next to Clear Creek.
And Ms. Martell, if you do want us to put a red box around it, we're happy to do it. I just didn't know if that was something state would.
At this point, you're all set with what we have.
Okay.
It's not necessary.
Not necessary.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just wanted to be clear that that will be part of our
Yep.
licensed premises, the
Yep.
card. And that is so a cable car can have alcohol and go through the line. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's my
Okay.
intention.
All right, thank you. Let's go to the third page. Again, I think you've discussed most of that. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, we covered that.
Okay, 4th page. This talks about the prep kitchen.
Yeah, so the blue dot identifies what we're considering our prep kitchen. This is on the A1 level, so really the downstairs as you approach the facility, and it's behind the bar that I referenced, the traditional bar.
And are we gonna have alcohol storage in this area?
We will, it is not within the kitchen area. For those that have good enough eyes or glasses, if you can read to the left of the prep kitchen, you can see the bar area directly to the left of that blue dot. Below the bar area, you'll see what I'll call a closet, although it's quite fairly large. That's going to be our primary liquor storage on this level. And then on the A2 level, the ground level that you come in on, behind the building, we have a refrigerated container that will hold overflow of beer and wine, products that need to be refrigerated.
And will that alcohol storage be under lock and key?
Yes.
Okay, and who has access?
Management.
Thank you. let's turn to the fifth page. Again, we've discussed this outpost area, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Next page, page 6, we've discussed this area for the outpost, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, page 7, again, we've gone through that A1 section and that talks about the secure liquor storage that you just referenced, correct?
Yeah, that's better. We should have gone to that picture. It's easier to read.
That's my fault, sorry about that. Page 8, this is again just the floor plan that we've discussed, correct?
It is, yes.
All right, so page 9, this is another one with the red outline, kind of summarizes the lower Argo station, is that right?
Yes.
Can you please talk about this level and what we are licensing?
Sure. So this is an area everyone's probably a little more visually aware of, for those that haven't been brought up to the top. This is down at the Argo station. You can see Clear Creek here in gray. Next to Clear Creek, you have Riverside Drive. Then you move into our parking lot. Just beyond the parking lot, you can see the Mercantile building. That's an existing structure, has been for a number of years. That is actually owned by a separate company, which is in large part or in part why it's not part of our liquor application. But just to the right and east of that is the property of our organization. And I guess to give it a quick description, it's essentially pedestrian area, sort of sidewalk that as you move right, moves you towards the bottom terminal and the access to the cable car. The large area of this in blue that is on the right, that is the footprint of the terminal, which we are including in our application as well.
Let's move on to page 10. That's just similar to what you discussed.
Just a more focused view, yep.
Thank you. And then page 11, this is the terminal, correct?
Yeah, so the first page, the page I just referenced 2 pages ago, really just showed the entire area. This is the upper deck of the terminal. So it's delineating that and the area that we're requesting.
Is that where the cable car would be located?
This is definitely where the cable car is located and where customers will come up onto to load and or unload the cargo.
And then just to be crystal clear, the cable car, we are asking to license as well as the cable car line, is that correct?
Correct.
And then finally, page 12 is just a further detail of that ground level, correct?
That's the ground level, yes.
Thank you. Before I finish up, does the authority have any questions on the layout?
Just, so it is like liquor or alcohol being sold at the bottom, or it's just the idea is people get a drink at the top and they can still have it?
The majority is at the top, but we are looking at operations at the bottom, primarily for customers that are finishing up their day but are looking to wrap up with a beverage.
Are there any other questions from the authority on the layout? Thank you. Well, just a few further questions. Just for legal purposes, we do have possession, and applicant does have possession and control over the licensed premise through a lease for at least a year, is that correct?
That is correct.
And the location was posted as required, is that right?
That is correct.
And still posted?
Yes.
And then finally, what's the estimated opening date and days and hours of operation?
Oh, man.
I had to do a 3-parter because of my last question.
I told him earlier.
Yeah. We turn off the screen now. Our anticipated and goal of opening is April 25th.
And let's talk about days and hours of operation that we anticipate to start.
So to start, we're looking at about an 8-hour day. That could fluctuate over time, depending on customer demand, customer feedback, and also seasonality. Seasonality also including things like sunrise, sunset.
I have no further questions, but if the authority or city attorney or city have any questions, your witness, please.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have anybody else to bring up?
No other witnesses.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for the time.
I would like to ask if there's any party and interest present that would like to come up and speak. I am assuming we don't have anybody online either.
Dylan stepped out.
Sorry, Dylan, I'm just double checking, make sure we didn't have anybody online.
Yeah, no one has joined.
Okay. All right. Now, since we do not have any parties in interest, I will go on with the applicant is permitted to give a final statement if they choose.
I know you're busy. I'll just say, I think we've met our legal burden. We hope you'll grant the license and come visit us. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, if I may, just before you close the hearing, any authority members have any questions based on fact that you want answered before we close the hearing, because then we're done.
Is that?
No, good? Yes.
Oh.
Do,
There you go.
so you've licensed the gondola line as well. Are you gonna allow people to drink on the gondola up and down?
So I have Mr. Mule come up, but it's going to be limited times when we have that available. But I can have him talk about how we operationally anticipate it.
Yeah, the intention is to have a limited offer for those circumstances, not for general public on a daily basis.
Like a wedding or something like
Yeah,
that.
Special events.
Yeah, more focused on special events,
Makes sense.
because we can contain those
Mhm.
and control them more easily.
I'm sorry, can you talk about the monitoring we're going to have when we do have that operational with alcohol?
So really, to go along with our general monitoring of safety loading and unloading the lift, we have our guest services staff at both the top and bottom. They're managing the line, helping the guests in various ways. They'll play a role in that monitoring and controlling. And then we have our lift operators, the people that are helping directly help load and unload the customers, and they'll be assisting as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything further? Any last questions from the authority? All right. If there's no other evidence, not hearing any more evidence to be brought before the authority on this matter, I will now close the hearing at 8:01. And Liquor Authority, you may begin your deliberations.
Who wants to go first?
I always go first. You people go first.
I think it's pretty thorough. I think it's always tough when you have, just because I've worked in hospitality for a long time, I think it's always tough when you have people wandering around with alcohol. So if you're very clear about containing it, which it sounds like they're going to be, about where you can be and where you can't be. Because that's why I asked about the gondola. That would be my biggest concern. Is, somebody drinking and falls off something.
All right, anything further? I would agree, it was very, very thorough. Much lengthier and much more thorough than I'm used to, sorry.
I've had shifts at a bar that work that long.
Yeah. Well, may I ask for a motion?
I'll move to approve the application for new entertainment facility liquor license for Miners Point Ventures LLC at DBA The Mighty Argo located at 2350 Riverside Drive, Idaho Springs, Colorado, 8045.
Thank you, Janine. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, I'm sorry. That might have been Sharon, I think.
Sharon got me.
All right.
What do you?
Any further discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Lisa Manifold. Yes. Kate Collier.
Yes.
Sharon Basis. Yes. Janine Mariani.
Yes.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
We're done.
Yes. And Mighty Argo, let me say congrats. And we look forward to seeing you up there soon.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so much
much.
for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah,
Good luck.
good night.
Good job.
And Jeremy, thank you for being so prompt. Good to have you back. All right, I assume we do not have our finance officer with us tonight?
Not tonight, Mayor.
All right. We have no resolutions tonight. We don't have any ordinance first readings. We don't have any second readings. I would ask Carmen, do you have anything for us during regular? No?
I do not, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. City administrator, Andy, have your report, no request for action. Just want to make sure you didn't have anything further to share.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right.
Mayor, before we continue.
Yes.
Andy, when I was looking at your updates, will you be providing us with, any kind of update about the future of the roundabout transit service and where else? Let's see it. This is what I get for not making a note. And the rafting outfitter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can briefly tell you, the roundabout was a meeting just among limited key staff from each organization, municipalities in the county to just, raise the alarm about
Yeah.
the future of transit funding.
800,000.
And we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So there were no decisions made or anything like this. It was mainly awareness. The county was just trying to let us know what their situation is and the challenges they're facing. So, that was the main purpose of the meeting, but there'll be more to come on that, I'm sure. Rafting, out of that meeting, the gentleman we met with, represents the other outfitters. He's kind of their spokesperson. And, he had, some short-term, fairly easy suggestions for making improvements to some of the put-ins and takeouts. So some of those have already been accomplished. And then there's some bigger ones as well that will require some more funding, some big funding, capital funding.
That would have to have a bit, much bigger
Much
discussion.
bigger discussion.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and we certainly have talked about in the past different ways of making some funding, additional funding for these types of improvements. So more to come on that, but I can tell you that we did try to do, and Public Works gets the credit because they got right on it to make some improvements, for instance, at the put-in at Highway 103, it had eroded and there was a big drop off and they put in some gravel in there and smoothed it out to make it a little better. It's not ideal, but it's better than it was.
All right. Anything further? Kate, it was your hand.
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm rubbing a bump on my head.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Andy, thank you very much.
Sure.
Moving on to Guy. Guy, no request for action. Just want to make sure you didn't have anything to share tonight.
Just that in my report, talking about the reuse of these amazing buildings for civic or houses of worship. And I was just really struck by that presentation. You and I saw it, and I think it's something we should keep in mind.
Guy, I just want to echo your view. We went to the DCI conference, and one of the most memorable people, and he was the former city manager for Buffalo, New York, was talking about the closure of houses of worship, all different denominations. But the 100,000 that Guy referenced in his report, I would just add, that's just merely over the next 10 years. They're looking at 10,000 closures. And they have, falling attendance. And unfortunately, there's no evidence that the youth are going to turn that around. So many communities have a lot of deferred maintenance with these houses of worship. We did have one close up here on Pine Slope. I know many of you probably remember when it was a church up here. But my understanding is there's probably at least another one or two that are really just barely hanging on. So the fact that these are often kind of right in the heart of the community, and there's a lot of I will say emotional attachment because grandma and grandpa were married there, or maybe our kids were baptized there. So it makes it tough. But Guy, thank you for pointing that out in your report. I think that's something that we're going to be talking about in the future, unfortunately, probably more than we would like. Dylan, got your report. Thank you. And wanted to see if you had anything further for us tonight.
Nothing else, thanks.
All right. Hey, under police, our chief is out tonight, and we did have that amendment on the agenda. And I am hoping that folks would approve this plaque. I think it was very well done. What?
Deputy City Clerk.
Oh, yes, thank you. Wonder, I need to thank Lisa for keeping me, between the guardrails. Hey, thank you for your report, and I did notice, and I hope it's continues to be the case, but we're up 5%, right, for the month?
Right.
Hopefully, we're onto a trend there, because it was 5% in a month where we didn't have any snow.
Right.
So that was really good. I wanted to see if you had anything further for us tonight.
No, thank you, Mary. I don't. I think it's gonna be a good year though, so I think that those numbers will.
Oh,
That's my
good.
feeling.
Good,
Well, we have food trucks.
crossing fingers.
Yeah, there are 3 food trucks in,
Yeah.
we've been waiting for food trucks to want to
Yeah.
come.
And really, I
And they're rating
had
it.
mostly, positive calls about it,
Oh, good,
mostly.
good, all right.
So, and I've tried 2 out of 3. I haven't tried the waffle guy.
I haven't tried the waffle guy either. I've been to the other.
It's got savory
golden
ones
one?
too. They're not all sweet.
Mm,
Just my thing.
Is that the golden?
Yeah.
Yes, the golden.
All right. Now, to get back, to the, black, I'm hoping, council will approve.
My name is
Plaque?
spelled incorrectly, but. other than
What?
that-
Well, that's.
Wait a minute.
I don't have a double R, it's
Good catch.
SHARON, not Sharon.
Oh.
I
Okay.
mean, I am now Sharon.
That is approved, that is approved, and that's why we want to have eyes on it, so it hasn't been made, so thank you.
All right, then may I have a motion to accept the plaque with the important spelling change?
I am moved to accept the Idaho Springs Police Department bronze plaque with the changes as needed.
Thank you, Kate, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, I think was Lisa. And, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Sharon Assist.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Janine Mariani.
Yes.
Lisa Manifold.
Yes.
Mayor Pretend Jeremy Jones. Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes. Now, we have, Ed up next. You've got a couple of requests for action. And I'm gonna ask for a motion on the first one with a fast patch.
I'll move to approve quotes from A Fast Patch for the mill and overlay of Virginia Street from 13th Street to 23rd Street for $142,000, I'm sorry, I always say that wrong. You know what I'm talking about, 142,605 from line item 23-00-6016.
Thank you, Kate. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Sharon with a second. And, any discussion?
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Ed, is this going to be like this summer? And then you continue to move west next summer?
It's gonna be, I'm repairing the worst of the worst of the worst.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna find out what we have left in the streets fund and go from there.
Okay.
Like the curb, kind of like the curb thing there. I'm finding the worst of everything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix it.
All right. Any, further questions, Fred? Hearing none, roll call please.
Janine Mariani.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Sharon Assist.
Yes.
Lisa Manifold.
Yes.
Mayor Pretend Jeremy Jones. Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes. And last under public works is the fire hydrant replacement. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve, I'll make a motion to approve the new fire hydrant installed at the football field park for $20,000 from line number 51-00-7320.
Thank you, Sharon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Janine. And any discussion?
Is this at the, over there? Where is this?
The one that,
The one that's
Yeah.
going in by the,
the football field was,
yeah. Okay, so going in
the
the new park.
field house, I think that's what I meant to put. Does that work? The
Football field
house,
park.
New
Okay,
mark.
okay, thank you.
There's one over there now. It's like blue and gold. And it's really not in very good shape. And it's attached to a 4-inch line. And it's also attached to a bunch of pipes that the old bus barn was attached to. We'll be getting rid of all of that. And then hooking a new hydrant to the 8-inch. So Jeremy will actually be able to use. it.
That's always, yeah. Ed, thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Sharon Bassett.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Janine Mariani.
Yes.
Lisa Manifold.
Yes.
Mayor Pretend Jeremy Jones. Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes.
Can I just say one thing to Ed and his staff? Ed and his staff have come to the library and removed probably 65 bags of mulch. Speaking of mulch earlier on the playground, that have blown off of the playground into the library, all over the library. So I don't know what he did with it. Just that he took it away. He cleaned the streets. It looks so much better. I'd like to say somebody needs to call the school and say, our staff spent multiple hours, if not 8 hours, the guys are out there doing this over a course of 3 days. So that's city staff doing stuff that is school related. And I'm kind of like getting over the fact that the school doesn't care about anybody else. They just abandoned this thing for us to deal with. That goes for the library. We've actually picked it up. Anyway, thank you and thank your guys. You guys worked very hard. It looks beautiful. But I do think we should be reminding the school that this is actually their responsibility.
Okay,
Exactly.
point well taken.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good trade-off.
And Ed, thank you. Once again, 60 bags, brother.
Wait, probably even more than that, Chuck.
Wow.
I just saw that many.
Jeez.
The guys are great.
They're great.
I didn't do any of them. Willie said, hey, I got that done.
Wow.
Took
Outstanding.
hours and
Awesome.
hours and hours, yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, Ed, just want to ask, did you have anything further to share with us tonight?
No, that'll be all. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, well, thank you. Under mayor and council, I did, make this on our agenda, this change, where I'd like to try to nail down dates that will work for everybody for the annual city retreat, council retreat. I thought it went really well, having department heads there. And, as was noted, Fridays didn't work for some council members in early June. So I don't know if you have the dates in front of you, but we're looking at the possibility of Monday, May 11th, Wednesday, May 13th, Thursday, May 14th, Monday, June 8th, and Wednesday, June 10th. And Andy had an idea, I think it might be a good one. This Thursday, May 14th, might be ideal if enough folks have that available.
Wednesday and Thursday, the 13th and 14th are best for me.
Oh, they are, okay.
I can't do any of these guys. I'm so sorry. It
I
just,
think the only one I can do is June 10th.
Yeah, the June dates are preferable for me again.
I have a kid graduating, and so my
Oh.
month of May is like
Okay,
completely sucked up.
okay, so Sharon, you're out to,
are you saying Thursday, May 14th at night?
No daytime.
Yeah, getting,
Off of work.
okay. Well, let's talk about June 10th. Janine, you said that works better for you.
Yeah, I have like a 4 PM meeting, but.
I could probably
think we're
We'll be done
normally
by 4.
Oh, yeah, we'll be done
We're
before
usually
that.
done
I
by
can zoom in.
And, Sharon, you said that would work for you.
Yeah, I can
probably.
do the Wednesday, June 10th.
Okay, Lisa, how you looking?
I think it's gonna be a little dicey, but if I give them enough notice, I should be able to.
Okay,
That's the problem. I already had to give the May notice.
and Jeremy?
I can make it work.
Okay. I can too. Is it possible that we can set that up so Kate or perhaps another can zoom in if they need to?
I believe we can at Tommy Knockers. I know they have a monitor there and I'm pretty sure they've had, live stream meetings there or Zoom meetings there in that back room at Tommy Knockers. Looking to Dylan because he's the most knowledgeable.
Well,
Oh,
it should be fine.
It's not like integrated, like it won't be like this, where you have to figure everything.
But that's like a worst case, you could like have a laptop that connects to the screen.
Right.
And then like Kate can be really big on the screen.
Just might be hard to hear.
But we could attach like a Bluetooth speaker or something if we had to. I'm sure you can make it work.
Okay. Well, then, Andy, it looks like June 10th is our best.
And I can still work on that. Let me see if I can get, like, even if I get there for half of it, you guys tell me what.
It'd be like probably 9 to 3, like it's been before.
Yeah.
And you'd have working lunch.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I still have a little time for June.
Okay. All right, before we move on, Andy, need anything else on that?
So Wednesday, June 10th.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Yeah, we'll get some more information out of that.
All right.
I don't think I have anything else for the regular meeting.
Okay. All right, then, before we go into executive session, anybody have anything further?
How's Jimmy doing?
Well, I have called both of his numbers multiple times, and I have not got a call back. I do worry about his mom, who is at a assisted living. She's still paralyzed. There's no better prognosis, unfortunately. And then Jimmy had a stroke. So I will say he was very fortunate, and I know he would want me to tell you this. There's no facial paralysis. There was no speech impediment. And he is not weak on one side. So really, things have gone very, very well for him on that regard. I was trying to get an update on how much longer he'll be out.
Yeah.
And so I have called him multiple times. And I wish I had more news. Well, anything further before we move to executive session? All right. I am going to move, we go into executive session under CRS 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses A, parentheses B, and parentheses E, to receive legal advice and information from the city attorney concerning city's taxing authority, personnel oversight, and to discuss the potential acquisition of real property and potentially instruct negotiators concerning the same. And we will be, when we exit executive session, we will be exiting the regular session just immediately afterwards. And Carmen, did you need, I guess I should ask you on this, Kate. It may be beneficial if Dylan stayed in this particular case?
Yes, sir. I think that's right.
Okay, good.
That would be wonderful.